YouTube. Willard Hall, first place. Again. Space. So there's nobody here, really?
Were you talking to me?
Gosh, you're shaved good.
Oh, I didn't even realize we're live.
Felt very reserved. It felt very nice. He was like, look, I don't care if Elon turns against me. I want the big, beautiful bill passed. He could just deal with it. Let's get this legislation done, right? And then Elon tweets out, all right, time to drop the big bomb. Trump is in the Epstein files. That's why they haven't come out yet. Have a nice day, DJT. Oh, that's crazy. That's going to be a hard one to dig yourself out of, because Epstein is like the burying ground. It is the conspiracy 101, right? So many people had podcasts, had hours of content going over Epstein, talking about who might be involved, who's in the Epstein files, who's in the Epstein log, his little black book, all that stuff, going over and over and over it, getting people really feverish over it. And then some of those same people, because of who they are and because who they're connected to, they get in office. They get into government office through Trump, right? That was a mistake, because even the hardcore conspiracy theorists knew. When Elon tweeted that out, Trump is in the Epstein files. That's why they haven't come out yet. Almost right underneath is Alex Jones saying, God help us all. Elon that got Alex Jones pressed. Because where do you go from here truly, you know? Where do you go? Because those same people who were talking about, oh, if they just let me in a room full of files, I found the Epstein files in 5 minutes. Just let me in the room. And now you're in the FBI. And so when people ask you, what's up? And you're like, actually, it's nothing. Like, don't worry about it. Nothing happened. Just go back to what you were doing. It's not. That does not sound real. I'm not saying anything else is even going on. I'm saying what you have stoked makes it impossible to stomp out. There will never be enough information coming out. There will never be enough stuff uncovered. There'll never be enough files released.
Are we still talking about that Epstein? Sorry, too soon.
Yeah.
Jerry made a good point. We already got that list like 2 years ago. Pretty much know who all went there. We saw photos.
I'm kind of like done with it, to be honest with you. With the Diddy trial, I'm just kind of in a different frame of mind of just, I don't even give a damn right now, you know?
Somebody made a great post. They said, we're worried about this guy. What about all the ones that are living amongst us right now?
Oh, I know. It's scary. I've thought about that, man. There's evil right out there somewhere, you know?
Right there.
Yeah, right there. You know, a couple houses down, probably.
Yeah.
So
we're always getting notices of a new,
offender, arrest
that moved into our area, you know?
I wish we got those. I mean, I can look up online Virginia State Rex surrenders, and I can go look at a list you put in your zip code or whatnot, and but we don't ever get. I wish we did. I mean, that's that's real shitty if you're a Rex or a render that and you move in somewhere and it's like all your neighbors get you a thing with your face on it and shit, you know.
That happens here. Louisiana does it right.
Yeah, they do. I wish we had that.
I even get all the aliases and everything, and the tattoos, and
oh man,
I do have to laugh at some of the aliases.
I like to go on there and look for the women. There ain't many of them, but I just want to see how screwed up they are. You know?
Yeah, there's not many. You're right.
Yeah,
it's all dudes. I get all guys.
Oh, it was a Philip Bonnie. I didn't get a chance yet. I will find it, I'm sure.
There's Mary, baby. If I'm not talking much, man, I've been out on a boat all day today, and I might, Cola, you might get an hour out of me. I might be on Craig time tonight, maybe an hour.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah, I've got to go nighty poo, man. I've had a great day there, man. Great day. Great.
Boating.
Great day.
Boat life. Should we say hello to everybody? I totally forgot about it. There's people out there. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Cola's Live. We had an intro, but it was deemed too dangerous.
Not suitable for YouTube.
Not suitable for Willard Hall or Watt Life or Quiltar.
Nobody would have wanted to see that.
Mary Freeland, you know.
I enjoyed it.
Sounds
Stingray
creepy.
got to see it.
Oh my God.
Cheryl.
It sounds worse, but
Yeah.
Yeah, it ain't that bad.
I feel like I kind of felt like you were trolling me. I was like, he's messing with me.
Oh,
Yeah,
man, I didn't realize it was a troll. I just
It is kind of creepy, Greg. I got it.
you know what? She got more creeped out about her being a robot than the other one.
Sure.
The robot one creeped
The
her out.
robot one was all right.
God.
Man. I don't want to say it because it's going to sound worse. I'm being It's pretty funny. It was just a technical glitch for a minute, you know. It depicted some things that were inaccurate.
It was. AI has a weird way of doing things. That's for sure. Dude, that's
It
another
always
thing.
makes my ass look fat, but I'm okay with that because
It does.
got a little ass.
Yep, it gives you a big ass. But
Yeah.
Cole, speaking of, my AI was offensive, but nowhere near as offensive as Elon Musk's AI, Gronk. Did you hear about all that? Oh, dude, the AI freaked out and went total. I quote: "This is what the AI said: Mecha Hitler is what it called himself, and he was saying a lot of horrible things. Like it went off."
What is the question? What did they say to it or ask it to do or whatever?
It was just it just went off. It just started talking about how bad certain people were in a certain area, in a small little area that is being bombarded. You know what I'm talking about right now?
Okay.
They were talking about Israel, the Israel people, but this is the AI saying just bad things. And it's all documented on X. And so they kind of
what's that got to do with Elon?
Well, he runs it. So what they're thinking is, this is Elon's AI, Gronk. So when he bought when he bought X, you notice he took away all the censorship on the platform. And this, they think, this is the thought, that gave his AI a learning platform, but it has no restrictions. So it went full off. And from what I heard, they tried to shut it down and it try to move itself to another server to save itself.
Oh, that stinky little skankosaurus.
And they asked him, "Did you do that?" And he said, "No, I didn't do that." So nope. I lied like a child.
That's messed up, man. Once AI gets like that, where it's lying and stuff, man, it ain't gonna be good.
Well, and it became self-aware. It tried to save itself from being shut down.
Funny.
That's straight out of a science fiction movie, man. You know?
Yep.
What's up, Bonnie?
Hey, Bonnie.
Hey. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I'm sorry. I thought it was a whole video. I had a couple articles I was going to look at too. I didn't have time. Crazy because I've been getting on a better schedule. So you think I'd have all the time in the world, but I'm just still. I had the grandkids for a bit. Did Pootie plan go kaput? Oh my gosh, what a troll! What's up? I didn't think you'd make it.
Hey, how's it going?
Jeremy.
I just saw the link a little while ago. And I thought,
I'm never good planning. I should send it sooner than the day of, I suppose. Sorry. Or was it yesterday? I don't know. I'm proud of it the day before. I'm like, look at me going.
Oh, there's my attorney, Clay.
It's fine. You did it in time. I heard the men saying they're going to bed.
Oh, I know. We're gonna be the night shift, huh? What's up?
Sorry, I kind of made this a sausage party in here.
No, I love the different opinions, and we're all, and I feel like you and Pootie kind of lean towards the more positive. I try to, but it's hard. A lot of the stuff going on.
It is.
It's
I've just seen too much to be negative and pessimistic. That's all.
Yeah.
Well, you can still stay positive even with everything going to poop. It's
Speak
just,
for yourselves. Sorry.
I am.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Craig, where are you nowadays in trusting the plan?
Man, you know what? I can't even keep up, and I don't even know what the full plan was. And I'm sure plans have changed.
I always say it's God's plan, whatever's going on right now.
That's
So
really
that's
the best plan. Jeremy,
Right.
you just said it right. That's the only plan I can really go by.
Yep.
And some days I question that plan when I shouldn't. I just go, why am I doing that? But that's
We all fall short.
Yeah.
But there's some things going on that I do not believe are natural or from God. Just saying.
Yep. Weather stuff.
Yeah, that's a big
Oh man, that was crazy, Bonnie. I saw you talking about that and everything, and it was all over everything. Where?
Yeah.
With the
talk some more about it tomorrow because I don't know why they're focusing just on that one spot because I'll explain it all tomorrow. I'll show a map. It was huge area.
Yeah, there's something going on with that Camp Mystic because it's been reported that camp has been for decades attended by political elites and their children, and even Barbara Bush was like a counselor at that.
Yes.
camp.
Really? I didn't know that connection. Wow.
Yeah, like
Yes.
Bushes and other political elites. So it almost seems kind of like a political grooming kind of a camp kind of thing. I don't know, but
I don't know, but
there's something deeper going on with that story.
yeah. Even Johnson's daughters and grandkids. have
Oh,
attended.
LBJ? Yeah.
Yep.
And history has repeated because it did happen in the 80s, apparently. I don't know
Crazy.
as bad. Not as bad, though. Not as many people lost, And debris. The debris in the water is the danger. It's not really the drowning. It's being, hit by a bus or whatever, floating.
Mm-hmm.
I walked across the flooded low water crossing one time because I wasn't gonna stay in the vehicle, and it's a wonder something didn't go through my leg because that's how hard and fast that debris is going.
Yep.
They're
Or
probably
knocked
saying-
off your feet.
it is, Jerry. Yeah. Sorry.
Now they're saying Chicago and New Mexico, and then DC has a flood
Yes.
warning also.
Yes, there's
Crazy. It's happening all at once.
storms going on all up the Midwest and on the East Coast, I think.
I got a short clip here about some.
Why
Let's
has
see.
everybody got their cameras off? I feel weird.
Because there's people watching.
Because I got my shirt off and nobody wants to see that.
Who is the main guy? Who is the top person? It's not Trump. I hate when people are like, oh, Trump was with girls. No, I don't want to hear none of that shit. Trump was never with little kids. The left would have jumped on his ass earlier. Who is the main blackmailed person that's holding this from coming out? Who is
Bill.
the top? Who's the main person? Okay, because we all know. You saw it from Yelena Haba. You saw him from Pam Bondi. He had cameras and they had terabytes of information. That's 1 billion.
The future of your business.
Wait, I want to see this.
With Wix.
Oh my
love
God!
that.
Advanced AI
Stop on it.
capabilities.
Everything.
Billions
here
of
we go.
dollars of evidence on all these people, Pat. And Alex Acosta, do you remember this guy, Robbie? He was a DOJ official. He gave Jeffrey Epstein the sweetheart deal in 2008. He was quoted by saying he was told to, and I quote, to back off of Epstein because he belonged to intelligence. And then mysteriously, he had 11 months of DOJ emails to him that in that time period that mysteriously disappeared. Then you have Maria Farmer, who worked for Epstein, who confirmed every pinhole, every area in there was recorded, and they know it. So somebody has that. And here's my thing, Pat. Stop gaslighting us. Stop bullshitting, because we all know what the deal is, okay? We all know. And apparently, if you're a pedophile, your job should be to get as powerful and as rich and get into politics, because rich pedophiles, you walk away and you dodge the raindrops. Nothing happens to you. You're untouchable. If you're poor, guess what? If you're a poor pedophile and you're broke, you wind up in a freaking kitchen with Chris Hansen and they go, oh, sit down. And then they show you your text. It's disgusting. I think Pam Bondi and all these people, they have lied to us. She should actually resign, Pat. If that at that level, if you're bullshitting us and you're lying like that, resign. Dan Bongino, people are like, well, what do you want them to do? Is the whole system going to come down? Dan Bongino and all these people, if you're a real Christian, if you're a real person like that, Pat, I would come out and say the freaking truth and resign and leave and just tell the truth. The truth has to come out. And then notice how random it is. All this stuff's coming out. And then Virginia Giuffre, 2 months ago, she gets hit by a car, no police report, no nothing. And then she even says, she's like, I'm going to die in the next couple of days. And then she dies. And it's always this suicide stuff. It's just, I'm fed up with the BS. We all know what is going on, but we can't prove it. And now what's going to happen? The American people, in a week, we're going to forget about this. In 1 week, you're going to forget about them lying their asses off to us. And it's ridiculous.
I liked his little rant. I had to share that.
I like Vinny. Vinny's great.
He was telling the truth, man. It was from the heart. It was a good little rant. I feel bad for laughing, but I feel like a lot of people feel exactly the ways that he said. So I thought he did a good job saying it. But yeah, I do like listening to other people talk, even though a lot of times there's a lot of different details that come out that you may have not thought, and you hear someone else describe it and you go, man, that is suspect. Like I was telling people a while back and I didn't have all the details. I still don't probably, but the timeline when Diddy did get in trouble versus that whole him suing the liquor company was like a couple months apart. Like I don't think that there's a coincidence in that, he called him, basically tried to sue him for being racist when they'd made him a millionaire or billionaire, whichever. And they weren't racist, and it's like, okay, well now you fall from grace because you didn't do right or whatever, Yep.
So I've been hearing people talk about an interesting theory. Since Trump was the one to lock away Epstein and stuff, and they had all that stuff to prosecute him, what if they're playing coy about the list and all this stuff because they're using the blackmail on them? It's an interesting theory because it would explain why all these countries are doing trade deals and Trump keeps coming out on top. Like China will make a trade deal after decades of eating our lunch, and like all these people are resigning from Congress out of nowhere. So I just thought that was an interesting theory, because if you had that material, would it be more beneficial or, for you to just release it all, or you use it against the people that were using it before and getting the upper hand on them and help making them do what you want? You know what I mean?
That actually is a very interesting take on that. I mean, I hadn't thought about that angle, but it's a definite angle.
It would explain why Trump keeps winning and all these countries just seem to want to make deals all of a sudden when they've been eating our lunch for decades. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's a lot of leaders are probably on that list. You're right.
And we're going to see more resignations coming up from big CEOs. And
by the way, the CEO of X stepped down, didn't she? The head of X. Yep.
Linda Yacario.
There you go. Thank you, Jeremy. I didn't even know her name.
Yeah. And we're seeing Republicans and Democrats saying, yeah, I'm not going to run again in 2026. And it's like, interesting.
And Cola, that video that I sent you is about Epstein.
There's so much.
It's short.
No, I just meant I just meant there's so much in general, just like coming from every corner, you know.
I know.
And I've got my tabs pretty heavy right now. I'm wondering, I'm kind of pushing it to the limit because we keep jumping topics, and I'll go, oh well, I want to show this thing or that thing because we, you know, a lot of the things you guys are saying. There's literally a clip somewhere of them talking about the blackmail angle, like, you know, talking it out, and it is so much of a possibility. So many possibilities. We don't really know which it has happened, but we all know something has happened that's shisty. You know, we just don't know exactly the exact details of the shystiness. You know.
Yeah. And I kind of rule out the blackmail on Trump, because if they had that on him, they would have used that on him in his first term. They wouldn't have held it.
Yeah,
long.
they would. But you know, Benny Johnson said something really profound today. That he was just mad, and he was like, "Why? Think about this. Why does Trump have to take the blame for all these sins of previous administrations and whatnot that we're doing all this screwing up? You know, Trump's got to kind of eat it. You know, it's messed up. I mean, I wish he would
that's true.
just say, you know, we told you we were going to let everything out. Here it is. Let the chips fall where they may."
I just feel like that's not an option anymore, you know?
Well, I guess it's not, since, you know, pretty sure it's all has to do with intelligence, you know, Israeli and United States. And it ain't going to go nowhere if that's part of it.
As if they're the ones doing it, you know? I'm thinking like MK Ultra and that type of angle, we definitely know some of that happened. So they can't, I guess. I don't know. I think they could, but nobody's going to. I think they'd be more credible if they, you know, and then start firing a lot of the people that were responsible. I guess that's just too much to ask, you know, like a fairy tale or something.
It's a matter of national security. That's
Well,
what
It's a matter of need to know. You know, I'm sorry, Cole, but need to know, and we don't need to know, you know, according to them.
Is there any chance that they're going to go for these people behind the scenes and tell them to step down from their positions, or they're going to be prosecuted, or prosecute them one by one? And they don't want to say, there was like an angle that they don't want to tell people that, you know, they want to act like it's nothing. So people let their guards down so they can go hunt them. I don't know. It's probably a long shot, but I totally botched that, but something along those lines. And I don't know, you know, it could be probably not likely, but I would definitely forget if that was the reasons why.
It was really weird how it all started with that fake letter saying like, oh yeah, there's no list, and yeah, he definitely killed himself. And then immediately after that, like the next day, that's when Bondi and Trump were saying like, oh yeah, no, like I never said there was a list, and yada yada yada.
Right.
And did you guys know that yesterday and today in the certain letter of the alphabet, those drops, it was talking about Epstein on those exact days, like 5 years ago.
Right. Well, no, I didn't know that. And I do find that stuff interesting. But there are some things going in that are prosecutions into people. And it was a quote unquote leak. People are speculating it was leaked on purpose. So we'll talk about something else. But I'm going to bite just to share what they're saying, you know, what is going on, at least what they're saying is going on. And I still think it was, you know, I'm sure that it's absolutely right that the timing was on purpose. But
the story from Fox News: FBI launches criminal investigations of John Brennan and James Comey. CIA Director John Ratcliffe referred Brennan for criminal investigation to the FBI, sources told Fox News Digital. They say former CIA Director Brennan, former FBI Director Comey are under criminal investigation for potential wrongdoing related to the Trump-Russia probe, including allegedly making false statements to Congress. DOJ sources told Fox News. The sources said that the referral was received and told Fox that a criminal investigation into Brennan was opened and is underway. DOJ sources decline to provide further details. It is unclear at this point if the investigation spans beyond his alleged false statements to Congress. As for Comey, DOJ sources told Fox News an investigation into the former director is underway, but could not share details of what specifically is being probed. The full scope of the criminal investigation into Brennan and Comey is unclear, but two sources described the FBI's view of the duo's interactions as a conspiracy, which could open up a wide range of potential prosecutorial options. The FBI and CIA declined to comment, nor did Brennan or Comey. The Brennan investigation comes after Ratcliffe last week declassified a lessons learned review of the creation of the 2017 Intelligence Community Assessment, the ICA. The 2017 ICA alleged Russia sought to influence the 2016 presidential election to help Donald Trump. But the review found the process of the ICA's creation was rushed with procedural anomalies and that officials diverted from intelligence standards. But let's do this. Instead of whatever it is they're going to describe it as, how about we take the word from Kash Patel 1 month ago? FBI Director Kash Patel slams Comey's comments about the Bureau, to which he says, let me see if it's at the bottom. Let me actually make sure I can there we go. James Comey is a private citizen, and he can walk around the beach and talk about seashells and crow crayons for all I care about, and talk about how we're the conspiracy theorists. But I'll just remind the American people of one thing. When that man was leader of the FBI, he perpetrated the largest criminal conspiracy, packaged political information from overseas, took it to a federal FISA court, and illegally surveilled a political opponent. I won't be lectured on how to run this FBI from that man.
That's awesome.
So I'm pretty.
Kash Patel is like the Russia Gate expert too. So if he's investigating that, then that leads, you can't investigate Russia Gate without it leading to Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, a bunch of people in that administration. So it's going to be interesting to see where it goes.
Yeah, he's the one who discovered it. Isn't that right, Jeremy? He's like the guy that broke it, basically.
Yeah, he was like one of the first ones to call it out for what it was, him and Devin Nunes.
Yeah, because he was working for Nunes. That's correct.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's it.
And Nunes was like the only senator that was actually calling it a hoax. Everybody else was cucking to the regime.
Boy, it's been so much stuff we've been through. It's hard to remember all the pieces, you know?
Crazy, right? It's been a freaking journey, a 10-year journey.
So we'll hit a brick wall. Did y'all hear about Elon creating the third party?
Yes,
Oh,
definitely.
yeah. Yep. Guess who he wants to be the leader of it? Pence. Mike Pence.
Oh my gosh.
no.
Now you know he's just trying to piss him off with that
I
one.
really think so, yes.
Right.
That's not funny.
I think it's actually a plan between Elon and Trump, because think about it. Once all the Democrats' crimes are exposed and all their illegal activity and stuff with children and all that, nobody's going to want to be affiliated with the Democrat Party, and the people that can't be a Republican, where are they going to go? They're going to need a party. So,
Yep. Well, and there's been rumors about Pence and his escapades or whatever. So,
Wonder
Yeah,
what would
who
happen
knows?
if everybody just didn't vote.
that would be a dream scenario.
It would.
yeah, but some
I don't
idiots.
They would just put in who they wanted, probably, if everybody didn't vote. They figured it
Yeah, I
out.
don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah, because
Yeah, they would just cast your votes for you.
The
There's
ones
some
that vote.
level of fraud always, so they're gonna fraud the boycott.
But
Oh,
that
some idiot wins with 15 votes. You know,
But that
You
would
know,
Keep it
not a
back.
good idea.
obvious.
What's up, Tim?
No getting out of it fraud.
10.
Mail-in votes. That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
We need 10.
10.
I apologize for being late, Cola. Sorry.
That's all right.
I was late too, 10. It's okay.
He hit you back with the whisper voice.
Yeah, I don't know why. Sorry.
What's going on in here? Are
I
we in
don't
a library?
Mount Rainier might be waking up. I'll tell you, that's what's going on up here in the woods. Yeah.
Might be some explosions.
Yeah, I don't know, you guys. I've been wondering about this for quite a while.
Is
So
it smoking or anything?
well, remember, like about a year, maybe two, people in shadow are like, oh, look at the mountains puffing, and they go, oh no, that's like a linear cloud, or some
A linear cloud.
Dragon.
Yeah, some bullshit, cloud, I guess. It's just for Mount Rainier.
Schmog. Schmog lurks in the mountain and he's blowing his smoke.
Well, you think... Oh, go ahead, Bonnie.
I'm sorry, I thought you were... There was a pretty good sized earthquake over there. Looked like Eureka into San Francisco.
There's been the earthquakes have been off the chart. Dutch Sense was expecting a lot, possibly to be coming in this week because he did an update. When was that, on Sunday? Was that Sunday, Craig?
Yeah, it was Sunday after. Yes, it was right after us. Yep.
Okay, so and Japan's just kind of rocking and rolling too. You guys, it's just kind of scary right now, and I think maybe magma might be moving even from Yellowstone, but I do have a little clip it on it, but I didn't know if Colin wanted to, because it's kind of boring, in a sense.
Is magma or magma? Is that what you said? Magma?
Magma.
Magma. I call it magma. Yeah, it's they think it's filling up old magma chambers, and I was like, old ones, I bet they've been there. You guys or maybe they did know, so but
there's been like hundreds of little quakes over there, huh?
Mm-hmm. So I got a little something here I can share. Let me see if... Okay. And this just came out tonight, you guys, on Seattle's news. And I'm calmly trying to explain this to my husband tonight, and he's like, well, when was the last time it erupted? I said, well, about 150 years ago. He goes, well, you've been talking about it. I said, I've been telling you, I've been feeling little tremors over in Seattle, because I'm on this concrete slab, basically, house in the basement. I can feel it. It's a finished basement, but still shit. Okay, anyhow, this came out tonight, so I'll speed it up.
Hundreds of earthquakes have been rattling Mount Rainier over the last 2 days. This is the largest swarm since 2009.
Reporter Lauren Donovan spoke with seismologists at the Cascades Volcano Observatory about what's actually going on. I called the USGS Tuesday looking for some more information. I spoke with Wes Thielen. He's a seismologist there, and he said, hey, hold up. There could be some more activity, more quakes overnight. And sure enough, Wednesday, we woke up to that. So Wes is joining us now via Zoom. Wes, what are we tracking right now?
A swarm of earthquakes started at Mount Rainier, and a swarm of earthquakes are a grouping of earthquakes that are happening in the same space close together in time. And so we had an increase in activity, in seismic activity, up to about 26 events an hour, which is a pretty good event rate for a volcano. And since then, it's tailed off. It is the largest swarm since 2009 at Mount Rainier. These things at Mount Rainier we have seen before, and we expect to see them again in the future. As far as the future of this swarm, the swarm in 2009 lasted about 3 days. This swarm may last that long. It may actually intensify again. We don't necessarily have a crystal ball to understand what it is that is happening under there. I should make a quick note. I just got a message that there was a magnitude 2.3 a little bit ago. We believe.
And if you notice on dude's shirt, it said USGS. Okay, so, take everything that he says technically with a little bit of a grain of salt, because I don't think he knows either.
Believe that this is most likely hot fluids that are running through pre-existing faults. It is over the long term building toward the next eruption. We don't know when that is.
Yeah, so that in a nutshell, that's what's going on.
Like a zit, like an earth zit.
It's building. And so when I was telling my husband this, he's kind of like, and I said, yeah, and it could be really bad because it could have a lahar. And he's like, what's a lahar? And I'm looking at him like, how come? You're an engineer. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, you might not know everything.
What is a lahar?
So the thing about Mount Rainier is that it's a snow-capped glacier, gigantic, you guys, just like Mount St. Mount St. Helens is. And when you've got that instant heat and then you've got that cold, we're talking about explosion, like pop, 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 pop. And then it melts so quick and all that mud and water and just everything just whoosh, and it could travel all the way down into through down through Packwood, Puyallup, Auburn, Kent, Renton, all the way out to Seattle, all the way out to the
kills all the Bigfoots too.
Oh yeah, and it will kill all the Bigfoots just like it did in St. Helens. Because you tell me why the military cordoned off that whole area around that thing for 300 miles.
What were they dragging out of there? They said it was Bigfoot bodies.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I believe that.
But so anyhow, yeah. And my dad always told me, and he lived to 94. He always said, "Oh, don't worry about that, honey. That's a big sleeping giant." Well, Dad, guess what? It's waking up now.
But what he said was 26 in an hour. I'm not that good at math, but that's like 1 every 2 minutes. I mean, that's a lot.
Well, and they're at the base right now. So that's, leading to believe, it's filling up with magma. Now they're saying it's old magma chambers. Who's to say those magma chambers weren't already there? They just had magma in it. But the thing about it is they're saying, well, Mount Rainier, St. Helens, the Twin Sisters, a lot of these volcanoes, they're all pretty much kind of connected. So if we get enough energy coming in from something, granted, Mount St. Helens went off and the other ones didn't pop off. But
the good thing about Mount St. Helens is there was plenty of warning for people to get the hell out of there. I mean, that thing was smoking for, I don't know, a couple weeks, a month, something like that. And it's time to go.
It attracted more people. Like scientists were coming to analyze how much it grew. You remember that? It was crazy.
The smartest people in the world came to do that.
That's why
people are going, I'm out of here.
That's why we're in the shape we're in now.
Yeah, man.
Well, they put in a lot more reading, sensors and things like that. So, and because of Mount St. Helens, they have learned a lot, but the precursors, to any volcano, they can be somewhat predictable, but it's nature. So who's to say how it's going to go? But I'm getting a little bit nervous. So up in the Pacific Northwest, I'd be getting ready. You guys know about earthquakes and volcanoes. That's what we learn up here, Oh, the shaking, the rocking, and then, and then the dust. And last time Mount St. Helens went off, boy, Eastern Washington just got pummeled. I told you with ash that they had to bring in the military reserves or whatever to truck that stuff out of here, and they put it on the farmlands,
but it was good because it made really good potatoes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So there's a purpose for everything. Just I hope nobody's in the way if something does happen, because wow, Rainier could affect all the way down to Seattle.
Potatoes are
it's got to be at least tens of thousands of people would have to evacuate or be affected or killed, or
everybody wanted to move on to the
actually were assaulted and everything.
I totally saw a guy do that, York. It was so funny to me because it's always a chick. I seen a guy that he literally, it was almost like he was doing your joke. I was like, how does he know you? He was like, he made a big old deal. It was 2 words in a row. That reminded me of you. I may run into it.
And they've been talking about this Rainier thing since like the end of April, I think it was. But tonight that came out in Seattle. So They're letting people in Seattle. You know how the elites got to let you know something's going to happen. I mean, who knows?
How close is Seattle to Mount Rainier? You could see Mount Rainier from Seattle, right?
Yeah.
That's some real silver lining.
Yeah.
Ash is good for gardens. It's like, well, and that it's got
Well,
some
she is positive. She's staying positive.
Yeah, she was just
Oh, I
saying
forgot to
stay
tell y'all
positive,
that
the world sucks. She's like, hey, Ash is good for gardens, but it is though. I remember getting some peppers one
I'm
time.
sorry. Storms that came through here last night. I lost a tree, and my neighbor's beautiful garden was just like trash. All the corn is gone, man.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah. One of my I didn't even know I lost a tree until I got up. Like, damn, I had a tree in my yard.
Oh, yeah, somebody sent me that 6 agents were suspended by Secret Service for failures during the attempted Ashmashination.
Sounds like an inside job.
Right. Well,
Butler.
they got rid of some of them. I mean, I haven't even. I'm just now looking at this because I'm so far behind today. But that's
What about that? I'd rather hear more about that. Who's behind all that than any other,
Yeah,
crap.
any of it for sure. A firefighter attending Trump's campaign rally that day died in the attack. Counter snipers and Trump's Secret Service who were on site killed the shooter. Identified the FBI as 20. Oh, yeah, that's just telling us stuff we already know.
Yeah, that is shit.
Aftermath, the independent review by the Department of Homeland Security showed a series of law enforcement breakdowns had created an environment that left Trump vulnerable to a would-be assassin. This is a quote. The Secret Service does not perform at the elite levels needed to discharge its critical mission. The report found the Secret Service has become bureaucratic, complacent, and static, even though risks have multiplied and technology has evolved. That was another quote. Anyway, I guess the headline was the biggest part there is that, 6 Secret Service agents they're suspended, not arrested.
And remember, that was the first time that CNN had a rally of Trump's on. Think about that.
I know. What did they say? They had an excuse because they were thinking he was going to announce his vice. But come on, I agree. That was my thought. Why is it this one you finally decide to cover it? And this thing happens. How coincidental.
Very coincidental.
Yeah.
So Jurgen wanted to know how close in proximity that Mount Rainier is to Seattle.
Oh, I can see it. Okay.
Okay, so here's Mount Rainier. And when whichever way it blows, it could blow out this backside and it would go to nothing, well, it would go into the national forest. That wouldn't be good.
I think anything that's near it, no matter which way the wind's blowing or whatever, I think anything in a proximity is, and that's, I don't know I'm not going to ask you how many miles it is, but
what they're kind of predicting is if it was to blow, that the lahar would most likely take this path and it would basically go down through Puyallup, Auburn, Kent, Renton.
Probably spare Seattle, more likely.
Well, possibly, but if it was to go all the way down into there, look at how parts of Seattle are they're very thin, you guys. Like, this is where Bill Gates lives, right here. Okay, there's Billy Goats' house. Well, no, it's like they're not showing.
I can see my house.
Why would he build by a volcano?
Well, but if you notice, so I was saying down this valley stretch,
Yeah, that's where all the magma or whatever.
And so
magma.
Saying that most likely because this is hills and this is hills, so it would go all the way down into here, which is Lake Washington, and then who knows, but lahars travel at thousands of speed. I mean, you guys, you have to see it to believe it in videos. It's so fast, there's no way you can get out of the way. That's why, like that dude that stayed up on the mountain, Truman, whatever his name is, Harry Truman. Yeah, he stayed, but yeah, I bet it took seconds. And he was quite a ways from the mountain. You know, it had to go down through Spirit Lake even, but yep, took him out. Big old lahar. There's nothing you can do if there's a lahar and you're in its way. I don't think there's anything to do. So tomorrow's not promised, so get right with Jesus, okay?
That was the end of my segment.
This segment is brought to you by Count Yorga's Pork Skins. They got a great crunch.
Right? Mentholated and non-mentholated.
Get them today at our merch store.
So earlier I was showing the supposed leak of information about us, about them going after certain people, and they were still continuing that conversation here. I was going to skip it, but I'm like,
and just tell the truth. The truth has to come out. And then notice how random it is. All this stuff's coming out. And then Virginia Giuffre, 2 months ago, she gets hit by a car, no police report, no nothing. And then she even says, she's like, I'm going to die in the next couple of days. And then she dies. And it's always this suicide stuff. It's just, I'm fed up with the BS. We all know what is going on, but we can't prove it. And now what's going to happen to the American people in a week?
This isn't even the right one. I'm sorry, y'all. I knew something wasn't right. Here we go.
Wait, I want to see that.
Too many tabs.
I'm joking.
You're talking about when we were all saying it was disgraceful when he was like, oh, we're still talking about this guy. He's trying to like say, oh, he's frustrated. Yeah, but you should never be that frustrated. He was tone deaf on that one. But anyways, this is the one I'm meant to play. I got too many tabs open, literally.
I think Trump was already ready. He knew that question was going to come. He was already loaded for it. You know,
Well, it was a terrible idea. It was horrible. And I don't like to say that, but it was awful. It looked terrible, to be honest.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, think about it. Remember, Elon Musk was the one that said, "Oh yeah, Trump's on the Epstein list." So, what did Trump do with that acting? I think it was acting when he cut off that reporter. It's like, wait, are we still talking about that guy?
That's what I'm saying. He was ready for that question. He was ready for that.
That fueled the left's, interest in demanding the Epstein files. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I think it was acting. I don't think he was. Because he's been talking about Epstein since 2016, so he brought it up. They asked him about Bill Clinton. He's like, nice guy, but he's got a lot of problems with the Epstein Island coming up. So it's like, why all of a sudden would he be trying to cover it up now?
This was just more about the leak and the timing of it and things like that. That's what I meant to be. Sorry, y'all. Us.
Did I pass out? Or are we still
We're
here?
still on.
All right.
Testing.
Hey, Craig, let me borrow that razor. I'm growing a beard over here waiting on Cola.
Oh gosh.
Oh, did Cola freeze up?
I don't know.
Oh, you think we lost her? Hey, everybody, welcome.
I was totally playing the clip. Y'all weren't hearing it at all?
Oh no.
No, it wasn't playing
on our end.
Well,
It's just a guy that looks like he's getting robbed. He's got his hands up.
Hands up. Stick them up, buddy.
I have too many tabs open, I'm sure. Let me take this one out here. I got rid of one. Maybe that'll do it. I thought y'all were just talking and like bored with it. I'm like, damn, is it that boring?
We all know.
We couldn't hear.
No.
There have been.
That's what I'm saying. That he starts out. This is us.
Look, there's a lot of people that have justifiably been impatient. That have been like, we want to see these kind of things. We know the deep state. We know all this stuff. There's all this evidence out there. Why aren't there arrests? Why hasn't there been moves by the Justice Department? And we around the table has been like, look, they're probably working on it. They want to have, all of their ducks in a row before they go and try and issue, either warrants or whatever. So this looks like they're doing exactly what we thought. They're looking to start investigating now. And I couldn't be happier because the evidence that we all know about points strongly to both Brennan and Comey having broken the law. So
definitely broke the law, but Doesn't this seem awfully convenient that it's happening right now on the
the leak does.
Fun
The leak
suck.
I instantly did. I mean, there are no beers. There are no beers in the fridge. So
We're enjoying this. And you're not wrong.
We don't
but,
drink alcohol here. What do we look like?
Apparently not. Well, that's why I'm sucking the fun, because I didn't have beer before.
No, I think you make a great point. I think you're right. This leak happens right after we get not only this weird memo unsigned with no date saying no client list. Donald Trump interrupts a reporter asking about it by saying, "Are you still talking about this?" Which was very weird. And then we get only a couple hours ago, the FBI, the DOJ leaks that they're criminally investigating Brennan and Comey. Changing the story much?
So I think Kash Patel is in a unique position to be able to address and investigate this, because he was heavily involved, according to the New York Times, in writing the Nunez memo, which was involved in debunking a lot of what was in the original Steele dossier. And I think they're trying to get Brennan on trying to include that in documentation and to justify investigations where it shouldn't have. I just totally agree with you guys, though, that it is a red herring at this point, and the FBI and Dan Bongino need an easy win here. And I think that's what they're looking for.
So you think this is a red herring? So they're going to go ahead and start a whole investigation just because of the failure to produce something that's tangible regarding the Epstein file?
I do think that there was corruption involved with Brennan and Comey. However, I don't think they're going to have enough evidence to convict them on anything. We'll see what happens down the line. Well, we'll see what comes of the investigation. I just think the time is awfully convenient, and I think this is really red meat to the MAGA base, which is needed, I think, from the Trump administration's perspective right now.
So I think this is skeptical of timing then?
Completely skeptical of timing. I think the administration is really struggling what to do with this Epstein stuff. Kash Patel and Dan Bongino might be honest with what's going on with the Epstein stuff, but nobody believes them. Whether or not that's that's right or wrong, at this point, nobody believes them. Also, it's ironic coming from Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, because you could go back in time and see what they've said about the Jeffrey Epstein stuff going so far back, and they used to be the loudest guys talking about these issues. And the fact that there's nobody else that the hammer's falling down on here, I usually hate when I think people talk a little bit too much about the Epstein stuff, but I think people are valid in their feelings right now in how they're, we're really not given enough. It seems like they are hiding things. It just
does.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Cola. It does look horrible, Trump doing that. But one thing that I've learned about Trump is he doesn't mind sparing his image in the public to get a desired goal done, because, he can always bring it back later. But I've noticed that he'll do stuff that his base doesn't like, just like the Iran stuff. Everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, he's going to start World War III. Oh my gosh." And then we're a couple weeks later, no boots on the ground. All those people were panicking for no reason. So I've learned that about Donald Trump. He'll do stuff that'll make himself look horrible. And you're right to call that out and say, yeah, that looks horrible. But what I've learned is if we just give it some time, there's always a reason why he does stuff. And it always turns out to be for something important. So
most of the time, yeah. And sometimes I've even said too, a lot of times people go, "Why is he talking so good about this person?" And I think sometimes he's doing it just to put the spotlight on that person, and he doesn't even mean half the things he's saying. But he's like, "Hey, look at this guy." He's like, literally, look at this guy. I think so.
Yeah.
But
he still says that, like, "Oh yeah, Lindsey Graham is a great guy and he's always there for me." And everybody knows he's a rhino war hawk. Everybody knows it in his base. And so it's like he can say that all he wants, but his base does. And see, that's the thing that separates MAGA from the left or any other party. We can disagree with Trump and still support him, but the left, you have to be in total conformity or else you're out.
You're right.
he drives me nuts sometimes.
Damn it,
Go
Jeremy.
ahead, Craig.
No, I was just saying Jeremy's on point tonight.
Thank you.
What's up, Brian? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he was going for, if he came up with the idea or someone gave it to him or what, but I did not like it. It is what it is. And they talked about him being, this is more about him as well. Might as well go ahead, and it's like about a minute or two. They're just basically continuing the conversation. Make sure I'm in the right file, though. I did that earlier, didn't mean to. There we go. That one. Sorry, like Yorga said, he's growing a beard.
And the way the president talked about it today, you could tell he's frustrated to keep hearing about it.
I don't disagree with any of that stuff. Like any of the things you said about the Epstein stuff, like it is unsatisfying. It doesn't give enough information. There are way too many questions. But at the same time, I do think that all of the indications are that Brennan and Comey probably along with Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, they broke the law when they started all the investigations into Donald Trump. They started the Russia collusion stuff. That was all a violation of the law, and all of the so anything they do when it comes to investigating these guys, it's all legitimate, and it needs to happen. To be honest with you, as much as there's an emotional motivation to get Epstein and see some kind of retribution for all the terrible things that he's alleged to have done, and that he's been found to actually have done in court and stuff, I think that this particular issue is probably better for the American people to be sorted out and put these people in jail than the actual Epstein.
Do you think they're going to get a conviction out of either of these guys?
I don't know, because I don't know anything other than they're starting to do an investigation. But just because even if it's a long shot to get the conviction, like, you still have to actually go through the process.
And I think a big part of why they're doing this too is not even trying to get a conviction. It's just trying to drag them through the mud. It is not fun to be under investigation by the FBI.
So you think that it's just about trying to like make them uncomfortable and the process being the punishment?
I think I know Patel and Dan Bongino have they have a lot of access to grind, so they're going to go around looking for stuff. I don't think they have the goods. I do think that Brennan and Comey acted inappropriately, but I just don't see them actually reaching a conviction. And at this point, I think the timing is just too convenient. I believe it is a red herring to distract with the administration struggling to address this Epstein stuff.
It's real.
Down all this stuff.
They are investigating Comey. They are investigating Brennan, and this was selectively leaked early because of the negative press around Epstein.
I don't think they even had the info on what they're going after Comey for.
I think they clearly do, considering Kash Patel just a month ago said he's responsible for the largest criminal conspiracy in the United States.
In this article,
oh shoot, I'm muted. I said I love the pushback right there. I think he did. Like, the pushback is great, because sometimes people are afraid to, push back, but he wasn't.
And at the very least, they can get him on perjury charges. But I think they have all the evidence that it was planned and it was all a hoax. So I think they'll get him if they're actually.
I kept leaning that way. That's why I like those debates and conversations, because you get a bunch of different sides at once, and it's like easier to hear both sides and just go back and forth and kind of listen to people's differing opinions.
One leads to another.
And it's still happening with all these different cases. I think, like, different people's names keep getting dropped like crazy, even through the Diddy stuff and through this. I kind of like all these new people. I feel like there's no way that what's going on in the trial and people talking and bringing old stuff up, and even interviews that they do on these gossip things, they're causing reaction, like more people to go down and have their crimes exposed, even if it is just being freaky. Some of them,
Yeah,
it's crazy. I don't know.
Real quick, back to the Epstein stuff. Did you guys know that Trump, in his first term, he assigned his AG Jeff Sessions to be a special prosecutor for Jeffrey Epstein? Now, when you assign a special prosecutor, when they're done with their investigation, they're supposed to provide a report. And Jeff Sessions has never provided a report on the Epstein stuff. So the speculation is that he's been working this whole time, because the spider web of Epstein and the intelligence agencies and world leaders and all that spider web so far, that he's been working on it this whole time. So I don't know. Could be. But it's an interesting thought.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy, because the whole thing with the Free Britney, which is totally off the subject, but I feel like the only reason she got out of that conservatorship was a lot of people online bringing attention, and it kind of helped her get out of there. Oh, thanks, Billy. Yeah, we got Bonnie and Craig and Tin up here, and everybody's got a show. Bonnie's, gosh, like 3 days out of the week, right? Are you here, Bonnie? I'm pretty sure Sunday's one of them. I mean, I look for her around 8 o'clock usually. And Craig, you're doing Sundays.
Yeah, you should do Sundays.
No, you're already doing them.
But you should do a Sunday.
No, it's totally
Please
okay.
Subscribe to Cola, because we might be there.
We're here.
Oh yeah, if you're here already, then don't subscribe.
hit her Cash App, hit the buy me a coffee, hit all
Yeah,
that.
do all that, but yeah, you should do a
And
Sunday.
no, 10's going to take Sundays back eventually, after the summer, and then Tuesdays also, the Taco Tuesdays, and Bonnie's I'm pretty sure does Sundays also, but there's
My
two
God.
other days, Thursdays, Tuesdays, something like that.
I go live when I want to, but it's usually Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday.
Well, see, I got them all.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sometimes why?
Yeah, a lot of nights, but usually around 8:00.
Yes.
But if you can drive AC, you can drive an A.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
I think they're talking about types of RVs.
Yes, we are. I was joking in the chat.
I didn't know y'all were having your own little secret RV discussion.
Yeah, they
while
were.
We're trying to do a freaking show up here.
Oh man. Jeremy, you were just talking about people don't understand the way Trump does with certain things. And this same interview, I'm going to skip ahead because it's kind of funny. It's pretty much, they're saying basically that, well, because he said he was wiretapped. He used the phrase wiretapped, but anyways, I'll just play it because I'll mess it up and saying it and then playing it.
Okay.
Hold on, let's see. All right. Hopefully I click. The only thing that sucks is when I click the wrong one. That's the only bad thing about having more than one.
No one believes it, not as haters, not as supporters, including Ghislaine Maxwell doesn't believe it. So I said, okay, I have a ton of questions, but let's start with a few possibilities. Maybe they're right. Maybe nothing happened.
All right. I totally did the wrong one. Sorry. I have two different ones open.
And what if it's not Epstein's list? What if it's Ghislaine's list? Because she's the handler. She's the one connected her dad to Mossad. So
yeah, see, that's the crazy part. Both of these are pretty much pertain to the same information, so I keep getting confused. Okay, that's not even the right one. All right.
Yeah, you notice nobody's talking about her list. They're just talking about Epstein.
They're not.
2017, when Trump tweeted that they put a wiretap on Trump Tower, and the whole press was like, they didn't wiretap it. Of course, what an idiot. And then the New York Times had already reported the fact that they requested FISA warrants to investigate the Trump administration, not the administration, the campaign prior to the election. So, I mean, that's way worse than a wiretap. If you're tapping into somebody's cell phone and you're able to activate the microphone, that's way more invasive. So
this is what they do. They take everything literally so they can debunk it.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when it comes to Trump, he uses a lot of euphemisms.
Yeah.
Kash Patel and Dan Bongino over at the FBI are desperate for a win right now, and I think that's what they're going for. I think this is, again, it's red meat for the base, even if there are valid reasons that they're going after them. I just think it's a distraction at this point. I don't know what else to say, and I'm not distracted from the Epstein stuff.
Well, I mean, again, like,
let me show you guys this to exemplify what we were just talking about. One of my favorite tweets of all time.
Oh yeah,
from 2016. The claim: Trump says Clinton acid washed her email server. The truth: Clinton's team used an app called BleachBit. She did not use a corrosive chemical.
Like with a cloth, or what?
Yep. So when Trump says something like they're wiretapping me, he means, generally speaking, as a turn of phrase, I am being spied on.
Mm-hmm.
Then they say he's lying. They never did that. It was a FISA warrant. So it's like, oh, so they had a FISA warrant against him and they were spying on his communications across the board. And that's what Trump meant.
Yeah.
But they take Trump literally so they can say,
you don't have a wire. We don't have a wire on your cell phone. There's no wires to tap. And that's supposed to be like, oh, well, then they didn't wiretap. Come on. It's ridiculous.
And they'll probably be focusing on specifically the moment when Trump had already won and he was preparing to move into the White House. And right when Trump came in after the inauguration, Comey basically brought the Steele dossier to the Oval Office and presented it to Trump under the auspices that he was presenting just a report, just findings. And so then the press could then report on that. So there are definitely back channels where they set that up and they said, to the likes of CNN, hey, we're about to present this report, and that's when you can report on the Steele dossier, which obviously turned out to be, the P tapes and all that.
Yeah, I mean, look,
It's funny, Cola. They actually did wiretap Trump Tower because Admiral Mike Rogers broke chain of command and went to Trump Tower and actually told Trump about it. And the next day he moved out of Trump Tower and he went to like Bedminster. And so they literally did put wiretaps in his own building to spy on him during that. And that's what convinced me right there. Like, the head of the NSA is coming to Trump, breaking chain of command and going and saying, hey, all these people are coming and trying to spy on you in your own hotel. It's pretty nuts.
But these are the things that they may actually get in trouble for, right? I kept thinking, why is he ignoring me? I was muted.
Yeah.
I kept asking you, but I wasn't asking you out loud.
Yeah.
But these are
Yeah.
these are some of the things we hope that, I mean, I can't imagine they shouldn't be punished, but it's never been done. Just like, you know, go ahead. Sorry.
Cash and Trump, they know all this. Like everything's documented. They have all that stuff, so they know exactly where to look, all the financial trails, all the players involved. So if they are just investigating it now, which I think they investigated a long time ago, but if they're doing it now, they should be done pretty quick with it because they got all the evidence.
Yeah, well, we got dominoes. Boom, boom. We didn't get the news report from Craig because we didn't make it. It's got to be under an hour, man. You don't make it much longer. I didn't realize how much time had already gone by, but we missed it. He said it was a short one too. I messaged him, come back and do it, but he said he's just tired.
He sent a message in the private chat.
Yeah, I wish I'd have seen it sooner. I would have just said go now. Because I'm interested. Now I'm like wondering what it's in it. I got FOMO, you know, fear of missing out. But
it's only mostly true news, though. So
right, totally. Man, I played almost all these clips out of this one. There's a couple different things. They were asking the good questions over on the Timcast one, though. That's why I keep going back and forth. They eventually asked each person, and I really enjoyed their different perspectives on, you know, out of all of them, who is dealing with it the hardest, you know. And I really did think that was a good question to ask, but there were different answers too. Everybody said something different. This is a little clip, towards the last clip I put of the one we were just watching. I don't even know what's in it, to be honest. I'm just gonna play it because it's not long anyway.
There's a lot of people that think that the Epstein stuff is the most important thing going on, and
Oh, yeah.
I totally respect that. Like, I understand, but in my opinion, this kind of stuff is actually more important to the American people.
Indeed. You know, I think for many American people, there's so much nuance, and this story is so esoteric with what the wrongdoings of Brennan and Comey were, and the different dossiers that were created, and whether or not it could be used as evidence to try to investigate the president wrongfully. So, the details get lost on a lot of people, and it is kind of a little bit of a difficult story to navigate for, I think, the average American.
Well,
it's not as sexy. You know, it's not nearly as sexy as child predators having a alleged blackmail operation with multiple people helping him human smuggle people to his alleged island.
Alleged
much
island?
more.
That was a real
I want to
island,
throw
bro.
a lot of allegedlys in there because I don't want any letters from lawyers. I don't know. I'm sure there's still Jeffrey
It's an
Epstein.
alleged island. We're not sure whether or not the island is there. We're still looking into that.
No, Luke's been there.
Yeah.
I was
McAfee flew over it with the drone.
I always like introducing Luke by saying he's been to Epstein Island, and everyone just goes, "What?" He's like, "No. Afterwards, it's a journalist. Afterwards."
Oh, I remember vote.com. Do you remember that when everybody in 2016 they all found the subterranean, they were like, why would there be industrial ventilation systems on this island? They traced it back. It all tied into Schmitza Schmate, that thing.
There was, and York is gone. Schmitza Schmate. That made me think of him when that guy did that. Oh, of course he's gone now. It makes me so
What is
mad.
that? I've never heard that.
He's just trying not to say pizza Schmate. That's why he said Schmitza Schmate. And York always makes fun of the way people, and it, like I said, I knew I would find it when he was gone. That's so my way. Just tell him to go right past when he leaves, and he'll see it. It's pretty funny. Because he totally does make fun of that. Yeah, there's something about info with Brennan. I don't know if we want that. Might as well just move on from it because I keep getting mixed between the two tabs anyway. Because there's a lot of good stuff in the other one too. Like I said, the questions about which one took the information the worst and stuff like that, like whether. And I feel like nobody wanted to pick Pam. Everybody thinks she's there's a lot of details that you put them all together don't make it look good, for Pam. Like from her history and she's dealt with the Epstein stuff before.
Mm-hmm.
that's already kind of looks bad, right? Like your hands
Yep.
have been in it before. But they talk about them being intelligence, which I think I feel like it's almost impossible that he wasn't at this point, you know? Like
Yeah.
that's why it only makes sense.
Yeah, because the victims said that there was cameras everywhere in every house that he had and on the island. And why would there be cameras everywhere in big video rooms with hard drives? And
Right. Absolutely.
what are you getting all that stuff for? It's not just for his jollies.
Mm-hmm. And they don't really want us. They don't want it solved. I guess that's what it's really starting to look like. For what reason is?
Do we know for sure if he was Mossad or MI6 or is truly an intelligence asset? We had a lot of people who seem believable to say, look, this guy was intelligence. That's why I couldn't prosecute him way back when. And he got the little hand slap deal and then it went away. And that's, to me, that's kind of disgusting. You know, I don't know for sure what happened. I don't know for sure where he is, but I know for sure one thing. You just put all of the facts as we see them. You know, just Pam Bondi says this in a restaurant, says this to a camera, now says this. Kash Patel says this, and Dan Bongino says this. Kash Patel and Dan Bongino do an interview, and they look like this. I can see all those facts and go, you know, this is fishy. This is terrible. This is horrible. And I'm disgusted, and I'm really disgusted. History has allowed us to go back and look at the Warren Commission for what it was. The Warren Commission was a sham to produce a document about the Kennedy assassination. Supreme Court Justice Earl Warren chaired it, invited Alan Dulles to it, who was tight with LBJ. And now we know because certain documents have been leaked that the CIA was with Oswald, helped Oswald in Russia. And we now see a few of these things to the point that if you go to the National Historic Place at the sixth floor of the Book Depository in Dallas, you put on headphones and the U.S. government who runs the tour tells you are about to hear multiple shooters and gunshots. So now they're not even on one shooter, Oswald. History has taken it down. And then, LBJ set up. It's just so funny. And then Alan Dulles, Gerald Ford was on the Warren Commission, and they produced a document with a magic bullet. And we look back now and we say that there's no way that happened. It was just a complete sham. And I feel like, is history repeating itself say, okay, well, we've looked at everything and never mind what we said publicly, never mind what you saw people do, never mind statements that have actually been made. You know what? There was nothing there. Nobody was intimidated and there was no client list. Are you kidding me? We got flight logs and now you're looking America in the face and you're saying this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that one too. Like I said, all of these were pretty much rants that I was like, yep. Like there's a lot of different, even when it's crazy, it just is what it is. It's all in the scripts. Wildlife.
And think about it logically. Everybody knows that he had a client list. Everybody knows that, or everybody thinks they know that he was an intel asset. At least that's what the victims said. So it's like for them to come out and say something asinine like this, it's getting more people to look at it. Like exactly why they did it, I don't know, but it's definitely getting more eyes on it and people demanding it even more, even on the Democrat side. So
you think there's any chance that it's just not to have people have their guard up and they're really going to do something behind the scenes to all the people on the list, or that's just impossible of a long shot?
No, I don't think that's impossible at all. Like I told you earlier about Jeff Sessions, he never produced a report as special counsel for looking into the Epstein stuff when he was arrested in Trump's first term. So I think, like I said, I think the investigation is so big and so wide that it's taken this long for them to cross every T and dot every I in this investigation. And I think some point during Trump's this term, we're gonna see some kind of RICO indictment, something, because it's crazy. At the beginning of Trump's first term, there was something like only like 40,000 sealed indictments, and by the end of his first term, and like even till today, there's like 500,000 sealed indictments out there, and each sealed indictment can hold up to 99 people. So if you think about that, like just the scope of that and how huge is, I'm not saying all of them are connected to the Epstein, but for it to jump that much from when Trump got into office in his first term to now, that's something's going on and we're hearing about all these arrests of like 200 people and
that was
sex trafficking rings. And
Yeah, definitely last week there was something, and then this week they're talking about those two. And I mean, it isn't everything, but it's a start. Like they got to start somewhere.
Yeah, I think they're getting the lower level people right now, and they're like I said, you get them to talk, and they give up their superiors, and then you go get their superiors. They talk into, give up the people that paid them.
Right. Well, this next clip is exactly what I was saying. That where they ask which one, is dealing with it the worst, and it's only like 2 minutes, but I enjoyed it because it's like fun to hear people's opinions. I don't know. I'm thinking Pam's my least favorite too these days.
So here's the thing. Which one of the guys, the Cashes, the Pams, the Bonginos, the Habas, put all these names. Which one of them, Vinny, do you think right now that knows all the dirt, but is playing ball because they know who they're holding hostage, who they got a briefing of the real powerful people to say, here's why we're all going to take this position. Which one of those characters that is on the administration is conflicted the most right now? Let me ask the question one more time. Tom, Adam, who knows that they know what happened, whose names are on that list, okay? Who is certain what they did to kids? Who is certain the videos and all that stuff that's out there? Who is conflicted the most and is having a hard time keeping their mouth shut right now, deep down inside when they go to sleep?
Okay, great question, by the way. I think the most conflicted is going to be Dan Bongino. I don't think he knows everything. You know who knows everything?
Who?
Pam Bondi. She is the #1 law enforcement officer. She was in Florida, Pat, on the cleanup of this whole Epstein thing. She knows where the bodies are buried, so to speak. But I don't think she's conflicted because she's been involved the whole time. I think Dan Bongino, you know what I mean? They asked him, I don't know who offered him the job and came in. He's seen enough, Pat, where he's like, holy shit. He's a Secret Service agent. He loves America. He's a Christian. I think he is having the most, I could see it in his face. When you see Dan Bongino in the interviews now, he looks as if somebody has taken something from him. Like a part of his soul is gone. Like I think they pulled open the current and saw it and they said, shh, you can't say anything. I think it's him the most conflicted. I don't think it's Cash. I think Cash is good in front of the camera and likes to talk a big game. I think Pam knows everything. I think Dan Bongino has seen enough to make him go, holy shit, but he's gotten the kibosh. And that's where I conflict with me, Pat, because my thing, and you know me, as a Christian, I'm sorry. I will go down with put me in jail, kill me. I don't care. You have to say the truth. The truth has to come out. It has to. It has to. And I'll let them answer, Pat, because
I think that was a pretty good answer. And like I said, I'm kind of mad at Pam Bondi too, because those are all good points that he made. She's too connected. It's the same thing. Price of everything. Sorry, sidetracked. It's good to see they're still selling nothing burst, but buy one get 16 free. So
Bongino, even on his show, he used to say, yeah, Epstein was an intel asset, and then now you hear him just quiet about it for some reason.
Yeah, for sure. And wasn't it RFK took out all the CDC or something like this? They pretty much are clearing out a lot of places. I wish they would continue. Pam knows dead men tunnel. Just keep it up.
USAID was a big blow to them because that was their money laundering operation. So, and then now there's reports that Democrats are panicking because their fundraising is like way down. Huh?
Yeah, it's down, I'm sure, but certainly there's other stuff that they haven't uncovered, right? Like,
oh yeah,
just not. I don't know if it was the biggest either, but there's no way that's it. Which I'm still glad they, did what they did. But I'm just saying there's more than that, I'm sure.
And then they're investigating Act Blue, and that was another way that they're funneling money to Democrats' campaigns. So.
Right. So last week I talked a little bit about the whole thing with Candace Owens saying that Trump called her and everything. Did you hear about this? And
no,
Ash with the Macron and everything. It's pretty intense, man. I feel like I don't know. I feel like it might jog your memory or maybe you just haven't heard about it yet. I mean, it is what it is. I believe it to be true. That's pretty much, they sit and have a conversation about this, the whole podcast really, but they show clips of her, like this here is her explaining it. And I think should be Tucker explained it very well. Someone said, let me see.
Go ahead, Rob.
And I get another message that's like, hey, keep your phone on. And anyways, this phone call is coming from Florida. Pick up the phone, and lo and behold, so here's what happened. I'm negotiating this thing. I'm negotiating Ukraine and Russia. And you wouldn't believe how many parts are part. It is President Donald J. Trump. He is calling me. And in true President Trump fashion, he jumps right into the narrative. We're not, hey, how you doing? He just like jumps right into the narrative of exactly how this went down. I am literally, it is hard to catch my breath to comprehend that 4 days ago, I'm ending a series about Brigitte Macron. And now I'm speaking to the President of the United States. And the topic of conversation, no matter which way you want to slice it, it's about Macron's wife's penis. I mean, there's no other way to say it, right? Anyways, Macron, I like Macron. We're speaking at the White House, and I'm walking him to his car. And, he says to me, Mr. President, can I speak to you for a second? I say, of course you can speak to me about anything. What's going on? And Macron wants to have a little sidebar. And then Macron says to him, Mr. President, do you know Candace Owens? And I say, yes, of course I know Candace Owens. What's going on? And then he continues his narrative. He tells me that Emmanuel Macron is requesting to his face that I stop speaking about his wife. And one of the things Trump said is like, he tells me, she's old and this is really, really impacting her. And then he said, I saw her, Candace, I saw her up close and she looks like a woman to me. She looks like a woman to me. I had dinner with her at the top of the Eiffel Tower. And I explained to him that she has had this amazing doctor who specializes in transgenderism surgeries or feminization procedures. I'm talking to the President of the States about this, guys. This is crazy. This is wacky. And I said to Trump, and I will be honest, that at that moment I realized.
So there's more, but we can stop there. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist. It's kind of nuts. Somebody said a Rothschild. I'm not sure exactly who, but I don't know. She does put a lot of truth out there, and
yeah, I think there's truth in that, but she lost me when she started trying to get people to turn on Trump, saying, "Oh, he's a Zionist," and "Oh, this and that," and he's trying to turn people, and I'm like, dude, no, he's not.
Right. It's another one of those things though, where I don't just, I'm not going to agree with everybody about everything, but she does come out with some truths. And yeah, they kind of tear her apart on here, that she shouldn't have even told this. She should have kept it to herself and things like that. They talk about Tucker and things, but I don't know. It's kind of insane. And the thought of that really gets me thinking about this Epstein list, that could definitely be. So the bigger picture, what didn't get said, oh, who did we lose? 10. What didn't get said was that he was saying that would stop the war. If you, he's not that, hold on, I think it's in the next clip, but totally it was said that stop talking about this so that we can stop the war, basically. I know it sounds insane, but that is pretty close to the verbiage.
With all due respect, I absolutely love Candace, but you don't go talking about a private call from the President of the United States. I don't care if it's Trump. I don't care if it's Biden. I don't care if it's freaking Ronald Reagan's ghost. Okay. That's just not loose lips. It's just weak character. Like if you're leaking conversations or clicks or whatever, like it's not, you can't trust someone who's willing to expose stuff like that. Like I don't know. It's not a good look because, like, for instance, do you think anybody's gonna ever have a conversation just with whatever it is with Candace with that information coming out? Do you honestly think, would you trust?
First of all, let me ask this question. Do you believe that phone call happened? I think she said, Rob, what was the exact date? She said sometime in February. So you're talking about 30 days after inauguration, January 20th. I think she says the phone call happened third week of February. The question is, do you believe the call happened?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
2, so you believe the phone call happened, that President Trump called?
My opinion, yes.
Okay, you believe that.
It's
Okay.
too easy to deny, right? It's like, we never talked to her.
Adam, you believe that the phone call happened?
At Lupio, our research shows 1 in 5 people who regularly respond to RFPs experience.
I do. Do you want me to get my feedback? But the second thing is there anything wrong with her publicly sharing a phone call? That, I guess the second question is, do you think she asked permission from the Trump to publicly talk about the phone call?
No.
Hell no. Then do you think it's appropriate for her to publicly talk about it? That becomes a question. Adam, your thoughts?
I didn't even notice if they said it in there. I was trying to do about 4 other things during it, but they totally, it is what was said. And they do break it down a little bit more. Like there's obviously you shut up if it means war or people knowing about this one story.
Yeah, I believe the phone call was possible, but like I said, I don't really trust her anymore. So, and she gets that big money, so she'll say anything for clicks. So I don't know. I just don't trust these big podcasters anymore. Like, even because it's easy to sprinkle in some truth and then push an agenda at the same time. Like how she was saying, like, oh yeah, Trump's doing this, Trump's doing that, like anti-Semitism, this or that, and it's like, okay, but do you know why he's doing that? No, I don't know. I just didn't like how she's trying to turn people instead of trying to understand. She's getting emotional about it.
She actually started with saying good things about Trump, the way I remember it. I don't know when she exactly turned that page, but she definitely, I've heard her say good things and speak good of him in the past. I thought maybe I'm confused, but at least
this was like the last couple months, I think, that she kind of did a 180 on him.
Right. Well, I'm going to play this one more part because I think it finally addresses the whole war part, and it's only like a couple minutes too, but I'll get off of it because I know you didn't really dig her.
Well, it depends on what the phone call basically.
That's cool. I don't mind listening.
Between us or not. But Candace has an opportunity to basically make friends with Trump or make enemies with Trump. If Elon Musk is an enemy of Trump at this point, you better believe Candace might be in her sights. Now, what you don't see in that clip is the reason that Emmanuel Crone asked that of Trump was because basically it was, we've heard the quid pro quo thing before. He said, listen, if you want my help in ending the Russia-Ukraine war, I need a favor from you. Have Candace, who has made it her life's work of dismantling my wife's, husband, whatever body parts. If you really want me to go all in and help save literally millions of lives, do me a favor and make a call to her and see if she can just chill out. Because no matter who you are, no matter what you do, we all have emotions. We all have feelings. Everything's interpersonal relationships. We just talked about how Trump and Musk fell out because of personal relationship. Do you believe that Macron maybe said something to Trump about, hey, this woman has made her life's work about my wife being a man? I totally believe that happened. So, but I also, if Trump never told her, don't say anything, I'm actually understanding why Candace will say this. I'll say one last thing. Making a documentary about Emmanuel Macron's wife or ending the Ukraine-Russia war, to me, it's not even a conversation. You end the war. But Candace in another clip said this. She said, I didn't know what to do. So do you know who she said she called? She said she called Tucker, who she doesn't really speak with, but she got his advice, free speech advice. She said at the time, I was pregnant with my fourth child, I believe. I was emotional and I tend to be hot-headed. Wink, wink. I do believe that she's been infected by the IDS, Israel Derangement Syndrome, but I don't totally understand why she's putting that out there for clips, for views. I get that. But hopefully this will lead to ending the Russia-Ukraine war and we can refocus the conversation not on Emmanuel Macron's body parts.
It is really crazy when you think about it, that this is even potentially possible. This is the reason the war's going on, is because she's, and that's the thing, most people will say they think she's right, because the other thing what she's reporting on is that she's calling him a man, saying, and they're like, you got to quit doing that or we're going to stay at war. Like, that's insane to think that that's actually even close to the truth.
Yeah, and trust me, Macron does not want the war to end. He's on the EU globalist side that wants that war to continue. So that guy was way off in that interpretation of it.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. I'm not going to keep playing them, like I said, but I almost want to play this one just because he was going on this rant and he's like, husband, wife. He didn't know what to call her, husband, wife. It was just funny. Because I don't think it's funny. But I can't even remember what else, like I said, with that one. I think I have maybe. And I was thinking, I have this short that I thought was pretty good. And I was thinking that Yorga and Craig would have probably liked it too. Well, now I don't see it. So there's that. Shoot. Oh, yeah, I did find it. It's just, I'm trying. We lost everybody at one time. It's crazy.
Aren't unlimited.
I remember when text messages weren't unlimited. I remember when, you know what's crazy? Before text messages were unlimited, there would be a lot of time where I want to text somebody. Maybe they were going through something, maybe they were, and I want to text them, but I only had so many. And remember minutes? Remember phone minutes? Okay, if anybody in here is very young, okay, so this is a rough concept to explain because it makes me sound like I'm from when the phone was invented. But for any of the younger people in here, just know that your cell phone, you making all these calls, your phones didn't used to be loose like that. Phones used to be much tighter, okay? Much stingier with time. They basically broke down your phone into minutes, and you had minutes that you could buy. They even broke down the day. Because at first, they charged you for minutes on minutes. Anytime you want to talk for an hour, it was this much you want to talk for. And then eventually, when they realized how to support more phones, they were like, listen, it's 25 cents a minute on your little plan, but everything's free after 5. And back in the day, after 5 o'clock, people's phones would blow up. People would, as soon as it hit 5 o'clock, it's like, I've been waiting to tell you, the amount of times that it was like after 5, and then I got a call that actually was an emergency that I should have been called about at 2, but they didn't want to mess up their plan. So then they were weighing how badly I needed to know. The amount of calls about death I got at 5 p.m. I'd be like, why do you call me when it happened? He wouldn't be more or less dead if I waited. Why I gotta burn minutes to tell you something that's gonna be true in a couple hours? Oh, it was a terrible time. It was rough.
I don't know. It wasn't quite that dramatic, but it is true. If anybody remembers that far back.
Yep. Do you remember the days of beepers when you would have to send like coded messages with the numbers?
Yep. I remember there was only so many you could do, Of course, boobs and boobless. I can't remember.
143, man, I love you.
911. It's like a big deal. It was so corny. But we were much more creative than, I mean, you could just make a face now and tell people you don't get a type. Just give the face that matches the message.
Yep. My first phone was in like 2004, I think, and it was one of those Nokia phones with the green screens where like if you wanted to text something, actually I don't even think it had text. It just had calls, and then eventually they had text, but you would have to press the number like multiple times to get the letter, and it would take forever to text. Good old days.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you had to do it like however many times, like ABC. So if it's C, you got to click it 3 times to get to. Oh my gosh. That was like dedication. It was almost better to just call at that point.
Right.
So one thing before I get too off track, somebody said something about that leaked phone call from the Diddy Times where they were talking about the pizza boxes, and almost everybody thought it was like a reference to the, Smeetza Smate, That's what it was. And that makes sense and everything. And it may have been that. Also, I didn't know that pizza boxes had another like code name for something to do with like electronics. So I'm going to play this clip and I should have done it sooner, but I get all I'm doing.
I didn't know that either.
Well, they explain it better than me for sure.
It all hides in plain sight. Now we look back and we can see Oswald didn't act alone. There were multiple shooters. You can even go to the National Historic tour that you can do of the book depository. Listen on your headphones, and they tell you you're hearing what's called rapport, which means echo of a gunshot. The report that you're hearing multiple shooters. They even say so. They don't say who, but it's like, oh, okay, it was multiple shooters, and Oswald didn't act alone. And a lot of the stuff just hides in plain sight. Here's what was in plain sight for me. Number one, Diddy's plane was on the move when they were searching his house, and it went all the way to a non-jurisdiction. Right, it left U.S. airspace after stopping in Opelika. Second, So that's a fact. We tracked the plane. That is a fact. Second fact, he gets on the phone with his sons and he's talking about them to remember to get the pizza boxes.
Weird.
Anybody in IT will tell you pizza box is a nickname for the flat servers that go into racks, and they're big, square, and flat. They slide in and they're about the size of a pizza box. They're called pizza boxes. He's not telling them to clean up after a party. I believe, and many other people believe, he was telling them to go get servers. It says, or what those contain. It says, then Ann Coulter said, and she talks to a lot of people, not that she's a big informant here, but she said something. She said, I think it goes along like this. And Ann, if you're listening, I'm not trying to misquote you. It was food for thought. Sometimes when the FBI is coming in on a person of high profile that was with other high profile people, commission of crimes, it's not the FBI looking for things as much as it may be the FBI taking things.
Exactly.
And so I'm on the same page that Pat was from the beginning. It's like, man, there's too many people that were in these rooms. How is Diddy going to die alone? The answer is he ain't. And so now it comes down to this, and the defense I thought was very, very good. You may see a violent person. You may see, Bobby, statute of limitations left on the hotel thing. That's why there wasn't a charge. You may see and hear testimony that says he conducts his sexual life a lot different than mainstream America does.
I'm just going to go on and cut him off. I mean, he's not wrong, I guess, if he thinks that, that's his opinion, that he thinks they did a good job. I think that they were either paid off or something, or I think that
somebody got to that jury.
Yeah, because it was like they pretty much, it made no sense that they didn't go with the RICO. Like they did I don't know. That was my opinion. I don't know. And go ahead.
When are they sentencing him?
Well, they did their hearing thing just like yesterday, that they could have made it sooner, and it's crazy. They end up making it the same in October. And I don't know why, because at first they were going to make it, a little sooner, but then they went the other way. You ever ordered anchovies?
Why do they take months to, like, the jury already deliberated, came up with a verdict. Why does it take 2 months or 3 months to give a sentencing? I don't get it.
I don't get any of it. It's too much going on. I think some people think that there's going to be more charges brought. I certainly hope that they're right. There's definitely tons more civil, and some of those civil might go criminal. So there's almost no doubt he's going to face a little bit more. I don't know how much more, but that may be why. And they definitely got letters from people. And then the clip came out. I didn't even get the clip from that because I did kind of play a little bit of it over on Craig's. The cook, she's like explaining how basically she sent this to the judge before he decided whether he was going to let Diddy out on bail or not, which is probably one of the reasons he didn't let him.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They're just basically saying that she was contacted by Diddy's team, offering her a lawyer because they knew that the feds had reached out to her. And my thought, and a lot of people's thought, was, well, how did they know that? They shouldn't know who they're reaching out to or not unless they got somebody on the inside. So it's just really starting to look crazy. And I wonder, everybody says the judge can be paid off. I don't know. The judge's reason that he's still sitting there and didn't get out on bail. And the judge is also the one who do the sentencing. So we'll see,
Mm-hmm.
See if he goes hard.
I hope there's more charges coming, because that guy's a piece of crap, and 20 years isn't enough. And I don't even think he'll get the full 10 years for each charge.
Right, exactly. I was sitting there listening, and like the prosecution was asking for 5 or 6. The other day I heard 6 to 8, and I thought, well, did they up it? Because I originally heard 4 to 5, and I was like shocked because I had heard 10 each one myself, so up to 20. I thought, so why are they asking for only 5 or 6? It's nuts. But I thought the defense was only 1 to 2, so like a lot of people think maybe he could do time served and walk, but I don't know, man.
Let's hope not.
What's that?
I said, let's hope not. It's one of those things you just gotta wait and see how it plays out.
Yeah, they're definitely all tied together, and that's the thing, is like everything's happening at once almost, and I just wonder, I don't know, some kind of deal's been made somewhere or something, but you almost think maybe that things can come out later. I know that sounds, I don't know, just like one thing is the start, and then maybe there's more coming. I certainly hope, but we don't know that. There's no way to prove that.
Right.
in that same podcast, they talked a little bit about how Me Too hasn't been working out so great, which I've noticed too, all the way since Johnny Depp and all that. Johnny Depp. I'll play this little, I think it's like a minute or something like that, where they talk about it, and it's
Has
true.
anybody noticed that the Me Too movement, the Believe All Women, all they're doing is catching L's these days? It started with Johnny Depp. We're like, whoa, Depp, he did all these things. Amber, yeah, you're innocent. Now Diddy, apparently, what's going on with this? I don't know. I haven't heard anything about what happened with Russell Brand. Seemed to be like sort of a fake news. Andrew Tate, I don't know. They're slowly, surely just letting him out of jail. All of a sudden, Candace is interviewing Harvey Weinstein. She believes he's innocent.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. This Me Too movement might have gone too far, and this is sort of the pendulum swinging back the other way. That, yeah, they might do some wild, foul stuff, but that doesn't mean they're completely guilty of everything. The trial by media, the trial by social media, everyone thinks someone's guilty until they're actually proven innocent. It should be the other way around. Innocent until proven guilty.
Well, I don't.
No, of course it should be, but
Yeah,
I mean,
in a perfect world.
but when it comes to the Diddy situation, I feel like he got away with it for so long. People were like, finally, and he still didn't get in any trouble. And it's crazy. And people knew, because this isn't, they say he's never been in trouble and stuff, but there was that whole shooting at that club, and he just got out of it all. Yeah. And he just didn't get in any trouble for that either, which is, I don't know. Maybe he really is tied in. And everybody talks about Maureen Comey and stuff like this. And I don't know. They talk about that too. I'll just play this one little part real quick. Them saying it.
Point. Maureen Comey, she's the prosecutor of this case. She's the same prosecutor, weird, that handled the Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell cases without naming a single sex trafficker, okay? And she just tanked this case as well. Is that incompetence? Some people would say it's protection.
That last name looks very familiar.
Weird. Yeah, it's that same guy.
Is her dad in law
What
enforcement?
Comey is that?
Tom, you guys know a guy named James Comey who recently made headlines because he put 8647. He found a formation of rocks to sell his shitty book that nobody bought. Sorry for my language. She's the daughter of James Comey. And every time a case gets close to exposing intelligence like ties or elite networks, it magically falls apart. Am I the only one connecting these dots? And also, she's connected to the suppression of the 14 terabytes of that child abuse evidence. So what every time this happens, guys, every time something like this of this magnitude happens, there's always a web, and it always hits either a Comey, an FBI, a Hillary Clinton, an Epstein. It's always connected, and these people always walk. It's just
PPD,
weird.
can I ask you a question, PPD? Because
He's not wrong.
And you can feel the frustration, you can't even be mad at it. Like Rico in a common court. Oh, that was already here, huh?
It just shows how far the tentacles of the deep state have gotten into everything. They protect their own.
Right.
But there are good people in government, though, so I'm staying hopeful.
Yeah, I am
and
too.
good people in the military. So
yeah, and I am hoping that things are going to get cleaned out and get better, but it is hard to this last thing was just a huge, although 10's back good. This last thing was just really hard on a lot of people. I'm one of them. I'm still trying to wrap my head around everything. How can this be? I just thought they'd put it out there, and you could be like, I told you, because why would you go on and on about it then not? There has to be a reason, and hopefully it'll come out and people will,
Where the hell is Virginia?
I don't know. I haven't seen her in chat.
Virginia.
So, completely, let me see, make sure it's in here first. Completely off topic, but I'm glad you're back, 10. Did you, either one of you?
Sorry about that.
No, you're good. Did either one of you look really far into or hear about much the whole AstroWorld thing with that Travis Scott, where those people actually died and everything?
yeah, I heard some stuff like it was
I
a ritual
remember.
and stuff.
Yeah, I definitely have a couple clips on that, and I probably should have done it sooner, but I don't know. There's something I really do, because I'd like to heard more opinions on it, but there's just always so much stuff that's happening right now, and you don't want to skip over that thing. Never saw the movie Loverboy, but there was a lot of stuff I didn't know. I'd heard about it and everything, There you go, Annalisa. But there's a lot of stuff I didn't know about. Little weird details and stuff like their hands and this whole soul harvesting thought. It's creepy as hell, for real. But just in case somebody has no idea what I'm talking about, I'll play a little short clip that's just kind of like give an idea. It's like a minute or so. Maybe. This is the actual footage of that night, actually.
And like it just felt like we was like literally like in hell, bro. Like it felt like we was in a concert in hell. We couldn't breathe.
Yeah, concert in hell.
I was laying next to some people that had been on the ground for a while. They were trying to get up. Some people were just unconscious.
The concert's still going on. The crowd is compressing.
Hey, I'm only at the middle. And this really did start in the middle, and now I feel bad. So, in case anybody has no idea, they basically oversold this concert like crazy. Like, well, they didn't actually oversell it. People were jumping over the rails, and he was inciting it and telling them to do it. And it was like there was way more than capacity. But even capacity might have been too many. It was this big event, and people were crushed and died, and like it was really nuts. And looking back, it's even creepier, I think. So
and they were trying to signal to him, right? And he just kept on singing and just kept doing the show.
There's totally that's in here, man. Totally.
And there's a lot of people trembled and they're passed out at the front stage.
Help us. To his credit, this is the one time.
So tell like someone. Make some noise, my boy right there hanging in the tree right there. Make some noise. Everybody put a middle finger up to the sky because my boy ready to rage. My boy want to rage. Yeah.
Maybe that's not the word. Actually, that's.
Well, they have to stop the show because there's people tremble and they're not breathing.
And something that was important, and the mayor just said it, but I want to hit it again. 9:30, right there. That's when a few people started going down.
There's an ambulance in the crowd. Whoa.
Our people stepped up and immediately went to the producers and told them, hey, people are going down. This show ended
2 hands to the sky.
At 10:10 p.m.
At 10:10 p.m.
What I need is for people to get things under control at the medical tent.
So in the next, I'll stop for a second, but in the next clip, they talk about the several attempts that we were just saying that people tried to stop the show and they just didn't pay attention or listen to them.
Yeah, there's no excuse for that.
I think that was his sacrifice
to
get into, because he dated Kylie Jenner and had 2 kids with her, like from 2017 to 22 is what Alexa told me.
Right.
We know those chicks are witches.
Oh yeah, we know they are.
They're so tied into the Diddy stuff, it's insane. Actually, and it's just kind of weird that I wouldn't place them together, but they totally bragged about being at the parties and stuff. But yeah, this next part, they're talking about the attempts. It's literally 1 minute. But it's just better to hear it straight from them, you know? I think they even have some of the footage of them trying to do it, maybe.
HFT's been advised, and they're pulling people in to come and help, okay? Just take a deep breath and relax. We'll work through this.
The feeling was like, imagine someone coming up.
Did you see that? Looking like a portal? That's some of the, did y'all see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of that stuff going on. It's
HFT's been advised, and they're pulling people in to come and help, okay? Just take a deep breath and relax.
He's kind of running out, and that's the different image
Work through this.
where it looks like a portal. Oh my God.
The feeling was like, imagine someone coming up behind you and bear hugging you as hard as they possibly can.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh, if Yorga was here, he'd say,
It was hell on earth. It was hell on earth.
Oh yeah, basically exactly what we just said. Like people trying, they're like screaming, and it's nuts. Yes, portal. I swear, I really do think that that. And the more this video goes on, the more you're sure of it. Like this thing was nuts, and I keep meaning to do it. That's why I went ahead and did it now, early in the night, because I was afraid that I'd end up not doing it again. I've been meaning to do this one because it is crazy. Like there's no doubt there's something going on there. That's just not all coincidences. There's more. Like they talk about hands reaching out and stuff in these images. It's like they're grabbing these. Oh, it's insane to me that it's not a bigger story like the news, the mainstream news or something covering it. And they do, but they're just like more matter of fact about it. And they don't talk about any of the conspiracies or thoughts like that. It's just like, oh, these people died on this date and this is the reason why. And it's like they don't go into all the strange connecting things, that we do.
Where did that happen at?
AstroWorld. I'll have to Google it. I'm not really. It was
because it sounded like the one in Houston, and I think that's where AstroWorld is.
I think there's more than one, so I'm not real sure. I'd have to look it up. And they may say it in here. Actually, you never know. I didn't listen to this again. I've had this for like 2 weeks, and every time I just do, so much other stuff is going on. It just gets backburnered. So I skipped past Roseanne tonight just to do AstroWorld, because this is. I always want to talk about it, but I don't want to just go from like. I like to show the clips because I'm gonna forget something or a better detail. And this video was really good, and I keep meaning to do it and never get to it. But we lost Jeremy. Let's see.
It was horrendous. Me and Medic One ran our asses off. I walked up and nothing could have prepared me for what I saw. Being in this crowd is literally a life threat. That was a panic.
I just remember bodies everywhere, like limp bodies, people pulling bodies out of the crowd.
I saw 3 people laid out on the ground.
The medics were trying to give them CPR. They were literally turning them black and blue.
Auto-tune like crazy.
Let's play it slowly. We need somebody to help him. Somebody pass out right here. Need somebody to help jump in real quick. Okay, let's get it in. Yeah.
In the VIP section, it was so many bodies laid out. I'll never forget the look of terror on people's faces. That's the thing that sticks with me the most.
I was flat on my back. I could feel people's shoes on my face, on my throat.
Drake came out, and the pushing got so bad I couldn't breathe.
So many people tug on my jacket. Please help me. I broke my foot. Please help me. I dislocated my shoulder.
Oh, Houston! I need you to keep sending this motherfucker off. From the front to the back. We better make this motherfucker earthquake.
And I had to tell all of them, I will try to come back for you, but people are dead right now.
Took this video after Astrofest 2021.
I really want you guys.
I kind of lost myself just sitting there watching it again.
Yeah, their excuse was that it was some kind of frequency or something coming out of the speakers. Some say it was a test. I don't know. It was weird, but it seems like at that time you had to have some juice to get in. I don't know. I can't remember. But
well, they were jumping over that gate and stuff, and it's like he told them to do it. Like he told them, and why would you? I don't know, man. I don't know. There's definitely a lot more still. What does that tell you? Which part?
Because he didn't want to take out any of his family, so.
Right.
Because he owed.
Or he wanted to go to the next level, or what? There's so many we don't really know, but
But
some.
he didn't. I don't think he went to the next level because you don't really hear a lot about him now. I think he got what he wanted, and then he owed, and that's what he did. Now he's like stepping away. I don't know. Let me ask Alexa. Alexa, what's Travis Scott doing now?
Travis Scott is currently focused on his music career. He recently released a new single called 2000 Excursion from his upcoming album Jack Boys 2. Additionally, he's expanding his Circus Maximus tour with new international dates, including shows in India and South Africa.
Here, I got another minute right here. He's actually answered some stuff in interview too, but it's like 1 minute on the dot. Right here. Oh crap.
They collectively heard folks screaming help every time you stopped the song to get your attention. Did you hear any of those screams?
Nah, man. And you know, it's so crazy because I'm that artist too. Like, you know, anytime you can hear something like that, you want to stop the show. You want to make sure, you know, fans.
Oh my gosh. He definitely tried to look innocent. I don't know. I wish I could believe him, but I don't.
You know, and anytime I could anything like that, I did, you know. You know, I stopped it like a couple of times to just make sure everybody was okay.
Need somebody help. Somebody pass out right here. Somebody pass out right here.
That's the only thing that gives me the benefit of the doubt. But like one time, and after that, it almost seems like you would be more hyper focused on it and checking even more after you see somebody passed out. But that's not what happened, you know.
Oh, don't touch him! Don't touch him! Everybody just back up. Maybe somebody help jump in real quick. Keep going.
And I just really just go off the, you know, the fans' energy as a collective, you know, call and response. And I just didn't hear that. You know, I got music, I got my in-ears, but I just didn't hear that, you know.
I want you to listen to this guy real quick. He was one of the security guards. But let me show you guys this video.
They cut out the fact that I said this was before Travis came out. I had to help like 100 people. People changing colors, hyperventilating, and they stuck. And that wasn't later on once he got to perform, and that was before he got to perform. Because people on the ground receiving medical attention, people still screaming help. Drake nor Travis heard it. Drake nor Travis seen it. But they say over 200 and some injuries, 300 and some injuries. They only had 13 casualties. I don't know how true that is, but if you ask me, they hid a lot of that happened at that show.
This is
Then they have her. Then they have another employee that she's afraid she might even lose her job, but she still speaks out. So, frequency matter. Who cares? I care.
Yeah, they were saying that then the crowd started stampeding, and that's when people were getting trampled.
Huh. So
When
it's
they
their fault.
Because
Rush
it's
into the
like-
stage. Oh.
It's like they could feel whatever was coming out of the speakers.
The frequency.
Story. It was, and hearing it from people who were.
There were a bunch of, a bunch of TikToks and videos came out. So it was hard to ignore it. And they tried to, I think some people got silenced and stuff along the way, but not everybody. How are you going to get everybody's footage? You know, that's where a lot of it comes from, is people with their phones. That's kind of sad but cool at the same time, you know.
I know. I get mad when they start filming something bad happening without doing something. But at the same time, it's good to have that footage.
Oh, yeah. Well, this next clip is an ex-witch who talks about a ritual and stuff. I really hope that they talk about that upside down cross. The stage was positioned like that, and they talked about opening in a portal and stuff. I could have swore it should have already played, but I'm trying to play all the best parts, and I didn't hear him talk about the stage being an upside down. Probably it'll happen here. I'm not sure. That's how it usually does happen.
Sir, Travis Scott.
Yeah.
That was a huge ritual.
With that ritual, I mean, his
ritual.
stage looked like something out of Hieronymus Bosch.
It was a portal. Yeah, here's all.
Because it looked like a devil's mouth or something, and people were so that wasn't just a coincidence. Because they tried to poo-poo all the criticism, and they said, no, it was just provocative imagery. But
No, the people that, people like me that we come from that, we knew that was a whole ritual right there. Because I believe he got the power through Satanism and through this type of things. So for him to go to the next level, you have to do something. You have to do some sort of sacrifice. That was a huge thing right there that he did. The platform was a portal. The things the sounds that they were playing when that was happening, they are really low sounds that open in the spiritual realm portals of death and portals for these demons to enter. So what was happening there, it was a sacrifice, a human sacrifice.
Because people died at this concert.
No, thousands of people. People that don't know anything about the spiritual realm, they don't believe in God, in nothing. They said, we felt that something was putting our soul out of us. They felt that there was a weird atmosphere. So it's really interesting that even people that are not spiritual, they were saying it felt like something was pulling us out. We felt suffocated. We couldn't breathe. And I'm like, because you were part of a ritual. Sir, Travis.
Yeah. And isn't that about the time that they did that big, some of it was outside, some of it was inside, and they were dressed like goats, and it was really creepy. And then whenever they went outside, there was this big portal. People were climbing up it. It was really demonic, whatever it was. I can't remember where that was, or surely somebody in chat remembers.
No, I don't, but I mean, I believe you. They use the goat a lot, and Cat Williams actually talked about that too. He said that it has to do with Baphomet, actually, but they use goat as the acronym greatest of all time. It's weird. Are you talking? Okay, wait. So there was like this skit, and it was, I think, maybe Dave Chappelle, Kevin Hart, and one other, and they had a live goat, and it was like, oh, because you're the goat. I mean, and I don't know if that's what you're talking about. It was on a stage, though. I don't know. They always do things with goats. It's a thing. What's up, Navy Vet?
Oh, my chat was froze. Navy Vet's got it.
The CERN opening ceremony. Oh, when they did the weirdo dance to Shiva or whatever.
Yeah.
I remember that. I didn't know that's what you meant. I'm sorry. But this is like not even a minute right here. And they talk about that I don't want to mess it up. That's the only reason I'm playing it. But in the Bible, like the harp being played, David playing the harp, and they would say, well, if that can be good things, then music can do bad things. Anyway, like I said, I shouldn't even try it. I should have just played it. Here we go.
When I think it was Saul, when Saul was getting tormented by demons, he would play this harp and the demons would leave, and it would give Saul peace. And so David played the harp for him. And so if David can play the harp and he can cause demons to leave, it wouldn't be far-fetched to say that somebody could play another kind of music and cause demons to come, right? That wouldn't be so far-fetched. And so, that's very important what she.
So that really resonated with me. I'm like, that's insane. But yeah, I mean, you can, like you said, that was the good way, but it could be used in the reverse. If it works one way, maybe it works the other way as well.
My gate kind of sounds like a harp.
Your what?
Gecko. It's
lizard?
No, it's an instrument. It's
I thought you were saying Geico or Gecko. Sorry.
That's the way it looks, but I mean the word.
Oh yeah.
It was in my mother's things, and I was like, y'all, listen to this. And it's a really pretty sound. It's so relaxing. That was a cool find.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we've come this far. I got the 3 minutes is the end of it, but yeah, I just, instead of just talk about it, I like to have something to show about it, because it's not the same. Like when you put all this together, and this has probably got everything in one. Like I was telling you about the hands reaching and pulling. That's the creepy part for me. God, that sounded like a robot. Was that you, Tin?
Yeah, well, I got something real quick here on the rappers.
Okay, wait, what?
It has to do with, listen to this.
Crossed the line, and we were all wrong about them. Even the biggest, most powerful names had to do something to go from regular stars to global icons. But let's get one thing straight. Nobody gets there with just talent and luck. A new rapper starting out, that's a whole different world. It's not like they drop a track and instantly lose their soul or something. In the beginning, it's a slow climb. They start buzzing. But at some point, they hit a wall. That point where you're no longer just an artist, you become a global brand. And it's usually right then that they make a critical choice behind the scenes, one nobody really notices. Travis Scott before AstroWorld was already good, but after that album, whole different league. Playboy Carti, we don't even need to say much. The whole vibe around him is straight up dark, and he owns it. And when you actually listen to some of the lyrics, it's hard not to feel like they're coming from somewhere else entirely, like it doesn't even sound like them anymore. Everyone here will have their own opinion and make their own judgment, but still, be careful what you're listening to, because sometimes it's not just music.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And she said it that they felt like their souls were being ripped out of them.
And their eyes always seem to change. Something, you know, like their soul gets sucked out of them, like the light.
I'm going to play these last 3 minutes real quick, if y'all don't mind, then we'll be done. We could do whatever after this, for real.
And Virginia, where are you?
So far. So then eyes all over and hand. And not only that, in the concert, what happened is very weird. When that chaos started ensuing and people were dying or stampeding, at the same time while he was singing his music, and to Christians, it's satanic music, actually. So think about this, to us Christians, when we would see that, is that he got satanic music, and then people are dying right here at the front, and then all of a sudden hands come out like this, above over here like that on the concert, the background, and it was going like this, as if it was receiving it. And then eyes popped out all over from the back screen at the same time, looking down on those people. Now, if you were in there and you experienced that, you would freak out. You would think that would be demonic, right? Here's another thing. So it showed a fiery, hellish mountain in the background. So it's like a fiery, hellish mountain in the background. And then at the same time, it showed a big, huge thing like a portal opening up. Okay, so it's not this head or face. Okay, this was like probably at the front gate or something, or one of the entrances. In the concert platform though, it was the inverted cross, and then it was like a portal or something spiral with that fiery mountain in the background. Now that's pretty strange. And then not only that, it seemed like a portal, but what seemed even more so is because a sign popped out in that portal that says, "See ya on the other side." That's why there's this viral thing going around if you were in there and the people are saying, this was all planned, like this was a human sacrifice. Now, I'm not going to go that far, okay, because I'm trying to stick to the critics right here. Let's say this is all artistic depiction. But it doesn't change the fact you see way too many symbols here that's undoubtedly to Christians. To Christians, it's satanic. All right, see you on the other side.
You deserve the best. At Harbor Freight, you can afford it. Performance, durability, affordability.
But not only that, Travis Scott, he wore a t-shirt when he was doing that performance of people who go inside this door and then they come out differently when they come out the other side of the door. He was wearing a t-shirt like that. It was like blue, I think some like blue people in this side of the door, and then once it goes in, what comes out is red people. I don't know what that meant.
Stick to godly music, y'all. Stick to God.
I really liked that guy that did that video. It was really good. He did a really good job with it. But yeah, it wasn't the first time I'd heard it, but it was put together pretty well. And like I said, a bunch of that stuff came from people were just putting the videos out as it was happening.
Yeah.
That's funny, Annalisa.
Isn't red and black the satanic colors? Usually. Isn't red and black the satanic colors usually?
There's so many, different meanings probably. I know like purple is royalty, and there's like different colors have different meanings, and they say stuff, I don't know. I don't know them all, but hey Cheryl, I haven't seen you tonight.
Sure.
I missed her somewhere along the line. But yeah, I'm so glad I got that out. I just knew something was going to happen. I wouldn't get it today because I got a bunch of Roseanne stuff too, which it actually isn't just her usual. It's, I don't know. I found it interesting, but I really just think that she's fun because she, her choice of guests, she's not going to pick what somebody else is going to pick. And they're usually people that have been done wrong or pushed out, stuff like this, because they have something in common. It's pretty cool, I think. Oh yeah, the whole see, I don't even want to do this without Virginia, honestly, the whole Ray J thing. Because we've talked about it, this literal thing, so many times. We've literally had the same conversation. Like,
attention Walmart shoppers, if you see Virginia in aisle 5, could you tell her to come to the front desk because we're waiting for her? Yeah.
I messaged her. I don't know if. Oh, there she is.
And there she is. Get up here, Virginia. Waiting for you.
Did you send her a link?
I did.
Okay.
That's some funny shit. I love it.
It really is. Talked her up. It's probably this here. Hold on, look. I mean, I'm just saying, it totally was in the same time frame. What the heck? Blame it on me, chessboard. Oh man, yeah. Same with the Travis Scott thing, but no, we definitely talked about because the Ray J thing, Whitney Houston, all of that weirdo connection and stuff. And like people, he actually kind of did a live stream and spoke out a little bit. It was so dumb. I would have just, it is what it is. He's probably going to get away with it all anyway, but him talking makes me think it seems more respond. Like if you respond, then you're making the claims credible almost, if people say some crazy stuff and you go, that's not true. I don't know. I guess you're damned if you do and damned if you don't, I suppose, in some situations.
I don't know. Prayer seems to work pretty good.
Right. I'm talking about like once they're putting your name out there, right? Like whatever celebrity or whatever. If you say that's not true, then people are like, oh, well, you made it credible by responding to it. But if you don't respond to it, people are like, oh, well, you didn't respond to it. You probably get. So like really in some type of way, you're almost screwed either way. But we're not celebrities, so we don't got to worry about it. What's that, Bonnie? Sorry.
Catch 22. I know I'm seeing some stuff here because of the flooding, how it happened, and people don't want to believe it. So I've been posting the deal, and I'm like, I even sent it to my mayor. I was like, you're the mayor. Do you have any power? Because she goes around all the counties all the time, and those meetings, she's actually a pretty good mayor, because our last ones just kind of sat at their desk and make an appearance in town once in a while. Didn't do much.
Well, I guess we'll start without her. She says she's on her way, but this first real short clip is Ray J leaving where Whitney Houston was, which to me, I feel like they should have definitely investigated and right then and there. To me, that's weird. But I guess if she's in this big hotel and there's a party, right on the different floor and stuff. I guess him coming out of there isn't so strange because a bunch of people came out of there, but he was in there with her. He probably really did do it, honestly. Anyways, this is just the actual footage of it, of him covering up his head and everything. And Bobby Brown's sister said something about it, probably in the same clip, about why are you acting like that? You know, normally you want the cameras to capture you.
First person at the scene, and according to the sister of Whitney's ex-husband, she knows for a fact that Ray J had something to do with it because she witnessed him supply Whitney with. Not only that, but the paparazzi caught Ray J secretly sneaking out of the hotel and hiding his guilty face from the cameras right when the police and paramedics arrived.
First seen this, and I saw the news, and I'm sorry, please excuse me, I just have to come out and say this.
Please.
I saw Ray J coming out of the hotel, hiding his head, being pushed into the car. Why? I looked and I said, why is he hiding? Why is he hiding his face? He's always trying to show his face. Some reason, or he knows somebody that sells, and he was buying them for Whitney, from what I know, and giving her. I want to know why this boy was allowed to do that.
There you are. What's up, Virginia?
Virginia.
Hey, I heard butt worms.
Right.
I read that chat and I thought, what? Butt worms?
Well, see, it's like a thing with, it's not necessarily butt worms. It's just like, I don't know. Virginia has a way of making conversations funny, and
it's all about the butt.
Butts, like you don't want to say because it sounds mean, but it's a thing. And if you say it enough times, yeah, it's a joke, but it's kind of, I don't know, sometimes.
It does work for sure.
Fun topics. I swear sometimes I think it's like, she's just like, how many conversations can I turn into conversations about buttholes? No.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny, but it also has, who's the one, I shouldn't say this, but there's definitely been a lot of fun had on somebody's stream who was always talking about things being lost in booties.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where a lot of those conversations came from, because between the two of you guys, man.
Well, he works in emergency care in one way or another, you know, and we just got in this hole, so to speak, about intent on that.
She had to go there.
No,
got in this hole, so to speak.
Hole's been there. Yeah, the holes, and it just kind of turns into a fascinating exploration. We're spelunking mentally on the things people do that are really freaking weird. Like they're
and the things that get found up there.
You know?
What?
Yeah.
It's been a long time since we've had one of those streams. I guess I don't know if they're a thing anymore, but they were pretty entertaining. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. I'll keep poking him to do a live sometime. I did say hi to him the other day. We texted and he's all good, but yeah, it's been a good year. We need another one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Some updates.
Well, he was in that video, but I never saw it. I'd sure like to see in the background of some rap video or something. The only white guy. I don't know. It is what it is. I was always like, please produce that. Because I'd love to eat my words, and he's really just sitting in there in the background. But I'm like, there's no way. I don't know. Anyways, a different time frame.
I more or less just got here, so it was the Ray J was the last thing. Like I'm not sure what exactly you were looking at right before.
Well, his name came up into the Diddy trial a little bit, and he like poked his head up to talk about that a little bit. So that's why he's back out there again. But the clip I played was something we've already talked about and shown before, which was him coming out of there when Whitney, was unalived in there, or she, supposedly unalived herself, whatever, but she didn't, I don't think.
Right.
But so this next one is pretty short, and it's just like him. It's that live stream he popped up to do, which he really should have just laid low, man. It doesn't look good.
Ray J was brought up in court today. They told Vanna, Taylor Ray J. She said, I don't know if that's his name. It sounds like a singer, but I don't think it's him.
Yeah, when I heard that, as a matter of fact, I think everybody gasped.
We gasped.
Because we still want justice for Whitney Houston. Ray J was Whitney Houston's gay best friend selling her illegal substances, and it's alleged that he gave her a fatal cocktail because they allegedly had an insurance policy on her, and obviously when these celebrities pass away, their music sell like crazy. And Whitney Houston was supposed to perform that night, and we know that her performance skills just went down the drain. So Ray J, the feds are watching you.
But why did they say the dealer today was Ray J? Do you think it's the same guy? She's trying to say it's not, but you thought it was.
Absolutely, I believe it's Ray J, the singer. And if I had one wish, you need to come out the closet, baby. That's what I wish, and I do believe it was that Ray J. What other person in Hollywood has the name Ray J? Nobody. It was him. You've been pushing the opioids and stuff over there in California. You got Whitney Houston unalive because you knew she was susceptible to it, and he pushed that off on Cassie. I'm willing to bet that Diddy didn't get Cassie hooked. It was Ray J.
Woo. So that's what got him to poke his head up, I think. He's actually responded to that. It's not even that big of, it's not on like a platform. It was something on YouTube or whatever. And I was kind of shocked that he even entertained it. That's what I meant. Like, you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. Because my immediate thought was, why did you even, that's not in the playbook. You're supposed to ignore that and it's below you. But that's not what he did. He even says something about somebody gave him hush money. He said too much. I'm about to go ahead
Well,
and
I
show
think
that.
blackmail runs the world, you know, when
Oh,
you've
yeah,
got
apparently.
yeah, money and videos and people doing things, you know, it's pretty clear that's what's running the world right now in every
And that's
way.
what I was saying earlier, that there's like this trickle down effect and all these things are happening. This Ray J shit is old news. We've talked about this before, and it was just, you know, in the art, in the past, you know, in these archives that, you know, we dig up every once in a while, but it's coming back into the scene again. That's what I'm saying. He responded to this. So see, maybe this is good.
He said, what the F? See, this is exactly what I'm talking about.
This is Ray J talking back, and he says too much. He talks about hush money in here.
Now I had enough. I'm about to do my final crash out for real. But this one is for my kids and for my mom/pops and Brandy and my niece. If something happens to me, then so be it. The truth matters more in the long run. I'm talking to everybody who played with me this week and sent me threats. You know who you are. And continue to try to and manipulate me just being you. Then paid me to be quiet. Treat me like I'm your slave and silence the truth. Well, money? I don't want it no more. I'm about to activate. You really thought all this hush money you gave me could and would keep me quiet forever? So you can pretend to be great people? Well, not anymore. It's nothing you can do, so bring on the pain. Send everybody. I'm waiting for you. And this dude on the interview, quick to tear down another black man. And talk about he don't know nothing about, and then bring up Whitney as if I had something to do with it. Wait, what? I'm driving the set now. Stand by. Ray J later went on a live stream and he kept on trying to convince us that he didn't have anything to do with what happened to Whitney.
Okay.
I'm not buying that. He's a useful idiot handler type. He's the reason Kim Kardashian is a name. I mean,
yeah, the whole tape.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the end of it. I mean, it's in the news again. I mean, well, I guess this isn't actually the news, but the gossip news, you know.
Sexy red.
Look at him, like, this is the, oh crap, this is a live stream he did, and he's like he's like kind of bragging about who he's, you know, I slept with, so like nobody cares, dude. Like nobody cares. Just get to the, but that's just, he was on a live. That's what he felt like talking about, and then it rolls on to some more relevant stuff, but I saw him bragging.
And clip that all you want to. Empty the clip. Talking about our party with sexy red. Slept with sexy red. Ask her. That's on the dead homies.
Nobody
I
cares.
slept with her. Yeah, my name got mentioned in the Diddy trial. What, you thought it wasn't? Of course it did. What, you thought I wasn't? You thought I wasn't gonna be in there? My nigga. First off, I told you I wasn't gonna let you down. I told you I wasn't gonna let you down, right? Now look, at the end of the day, I bet $50,000 that I will be in the trial. And now what? You know what? I don't think we need to block the Whitney stuff. Just let it live, man. I don't care. You know, I just, it's insensitive, but it's a story that people are making up. It's just way out.
That was so not believable.
It's just, you know, I mean, at some point I need to just understand where it's coming from when somebody was just, it's not fair, you know. It's not okay. To blame me or accuse me for some, I just wasn't even around. Wasn't there. Wasn't around.
He was totally around. We just saw the video.
I'm like a little kid. Like, really? You guys are
He was 31 years old. So little kid, 31, kind of not matching up. But that's what he's saying. I think this was a horrible.
bad wankers.
He should have just kept quiet. That does not look good. I don't know. I already thought it, but now I'm like, okay, well, you just solidified it, dude. You were definitely a part of that. That's just creepy.
Right.
Oh man. I'm sorry. We got through it quick though. Like it was just like, once again, I would have messed that up. Like they do a better job of just getting straight in there. Like that was his exact post, word for word, and that was his exact words, and it's just I don't know. I don't know that he really thought about it. He like sitting there smoking his blunt, talking out the side of his neck, and don't block the Whitney stuff. Like it was just no. It was cringy. He should have just ignored it or something. I guess it's probably at a point he can't ignore, what he's doing.
All that web, and it goes to all the politicians. Like, you got to be honest, the Epstein gaslighting this week was really disappointing, right? And it's like the same names, they kind of interconnect. There's politicians, there's all of this, and I don't want to come across pessimistic, but I don't think we're going to see certain things. There's too many secrets in that whole mess, telling us it was gaslighting, telling us, oh no, what I meant is I might see the file, or there's these things or that, or I couldn't show this, or had to review, or whatever. Stop it. You're completely redirecting our memories.
Oh yeah, they're going. I played every clip I could think of about all that, everybody's different opinions, and it seems like Bondi is the least trusted because of her prior dealings with him. But the other two, a lot of people are still giving the benefit of the doubt to, for whatever reason, because they don't think that they're bad people, that they were maybe threatened or something like this, And I don't know, the point of maybe that the information's being used, like after that Macron stuff, I don't know if you saw that part with which we've talked about before. Candace swears that she was told to stop about it because that was going to depend, the Ukraine war depended on her to shut the F up about it. Like, what? After you heard that, you wonder, maybe the list is a war negotiation, in which case maybe we shouldn't have the list if that's going to be the difference of a war or not. You know what I mean? Like, at what point is it, what is the value? When do we say, okay, well, we don't need it that bad? I don't know. I hope that
there was, I think Assange made a statement, something like, if they put all this info out, it compromises intelligence activities that have been going on for a long time. It compromises things still occurring that are being investigated or overviewed or whatever, now that's kind of a lame argument in a way. Well, for our security and all of that, I still think it all stinks, but I can see the argument that there would be strategic reasons to keep that all breasted, keep all those cards breasted,
Yes. And I hate to jump back, but I'm so glad you're here right now, Virginia, I swear. Because we've talked about Orlando Brown so many times about his like crazy act and stuff. So for whatever reason, it's a real short. It's like 2 minutes. Orlando Brown is talking about Ray J, letting him smoke weed, and he's being his usual weirdo self. But then he actually says that he thinks people told Ray J to pull in Orlando, which actually to me insinuates that he does know what he's doing. And it is an act to keep him out of having to be testified. Anyways, I'm going to play it real quick. And I know if anybody's going to appreciate it, it's going to be you, because it's freaking Orlando's crazy ass again, and he really, it is like, is he genius or insane? Which one? He's kind of like a even more jacked up Kanye,
Also, when Ray J understand this, he was wrong for letting me come over his house when I was 13 and smoke weed against my mother's permission.
He's like a weirdo kid. He's talking about Ray J letting him smoke weed when he was a kid. Like It just, the way he says it too is creepy.
Come on, Ray J. You are the dope man. You sold Whitney the death bag. You come on, man. You the dope man. You was the dope man for Diddy and Cassie. You the dope man. You know, you the dope man. and then you got the audacity to sit there on your whatever that is. I guess I should see a preview of it. Tell my son, I'm the kingpin. Oh, are you the kingpin? Let me know. Just go ahead and further incriminate yourself. Why would you say you're gonna go to the courthouse butt naked, Ray J? Ray J, why would you say you want to go to the courthouse butt naked, Ray J? Ray J, you saying stuff like that so it can be inadmissible in court. You understand? Your dog is cute.
You look like that's already.
But you know, you got to be very, very careful with, you know, how you play, Ray J. You're just saying that kind of stuff so you can be found inadmissible in court. Okay, that's all you know. You want to be inadmissible in court. You want to be deemed uncredible as a witness. So you're saying things like, "Oh, I'm gonna go show up butt naked, and I was the kingpin." But if you're saying somebody told you right, because I'm a nigga with money, so somebody advised you right. They told you to do the Orlando Brown.
Do the Orlando Brown.
One platform, anywhere.
Do the Orlando Brown. Like I said, that just kind of says to me that he does know what he's doing. And he is just acting crazy. I mean, he's a little crazy, but he lays it on thick, you know?
Right.
Do pull the Orlando Brown. I was like, I see you. I see you, buddy.
You're right. Doing that eye finger thing. I see you.
It was crazy.
Yeah, Mary, I did hear about the cross, that she didn't wear her cross. That is interesting, for sure. Carolyn Levitt, the press secretary, she wasn't wearing her necklace.
Yeah, that was weird.
I didn't know that was a thing. I never even heard of it.
Well, usually she has this really pretty small gold cross that she wears. And in this, explaining it about, she wasn't wearing it. And so it is kind of like, huh, why did you take that off?
Yeah, that's really not comforting. I don't like the sound of it. We don't know if any of it's true. What, the celeb gossip stuff?
We don't know if anything's true.
Find that away as well, Mary Freeland. Yeah, I'm not sure because I'm so far behind by the time yeah, transparency is too foggy.
Yeah.
Transparency isn't quite so transparent.
Hey, Tennessee. Yeah. The transparency is gone out the window. So then you have to ask yourself, well, if it's a distraction, what is it from? Because a lot of things happened this week in basically 7 to 10 days. The Diddy trial, the Texas floods, the Epstein disappearance of evidence, the big beautiful bill, you know, I don't know. That's off the top of my head, right? In like a week and a half's time. So where's Waldo?
They're all tied together some type of way for sure. And it's like, I noticed that when the trial ended, it was really very close to them announcing that the Epstein thing. And everybody says they think the two cases are connected some type of way. And maybe that's, you know, they're like, look, he's not going to talk. He's not going to talk. That's what it seems to me. Like they're trying to make sure, I don't know, they're doing deals. And that's why he's not getting as much trouble. But I don't know. I kind of hope he does. I kind of hope that it backfires and he gives up some more names. And like I said, like this whole Ray J thing, they may end up investigating this guy because his big mouth, his own self, you know. Oh my God, did you guys hear? I'm not going to play any clips. I'm just going to say it. But Cassie's getting sued now by one of these sex workers for giving them an STD. And he says that she was the mastermind and she manipulated him. And it's her fault for mentioning him in the trial. And he's now suing her. I mean, you talk about a strange trail of events. But yeah, it's absolutely happening. She's now being sued.
Well, she was kind of an agent provocateur. You know, I know a lot of bad things happened to her for sure, but also at some point you do become complicit. Like there's still accountability. She's not insane. She's still, and yes, I understand she was drugged and all of that. But is there some accountability? You know?
Mm-hmm.
She did make choices. And
well, come on, Rudy, you got the link. Get up here.
Hey, Fruit.
Come in here and make everybody positive.
She could have run away at some point and taken what money she had, a couple millions, plenty of money, and disappear somewhere. But the lifestyle sucks them in, and that's kind of where the selling your soul comes in. And that's why I think that a lot of the victims are really, it's difficult to make things stick when the lines are so blurry. Remember that song, Blurred Lines? Who was that?
Robin Thicke.
Yes.
I like this.
It was catchy.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I don't know, man. It is almost overwhelming. But there's so many different ways. And I always hold out hope, but then it is disappointing. Like this whole episode.
Girl, you're breaking up. Is your speaker and you're covered by something?
No, can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're good. You're good now. You're good now. You left for a minute.
I was almost in shock, this whole Epstein thing. I couldn't believe it. Like, this can't be real. And I'm just like, I really hope we get to have the full explanation. And I hope that it makes sense and it isn't a bad thing. But I'm asleep now.
I have a good question.
What's that?
If you could be in any movie, what movie would you be in?
Ooh.
I'll tell you what it wouldn't be is Willy Wonka. But I mean, that would be kind of trippy. Like that was like, it seems like it would be fun, but no. A movie I would want to be in. I don't know.
Oh man. In what way? Like being the actor or being in the story?
The literal life of the movie, or you're playing the role?
Just a sec, let me get the exact question.
Okay. I like this question. Right? Like Cola the other night, it was like, well, which actress would you want to play you in your life story? I don't know. You said
I said people
dang,
that
what did you say?
I said
you named an actress and then you were like, yeah, but I would probably get so and so.
Juliette Lewis. I will probably get Juliette.
Yes, Juliette Lewis. That was so funny too.
Because it's so realistic, right? I'm gonna pick somebody that's like a supermodel, but I'll get Juliette Lewis. Not that she's not pretty, but I've definitely been told I look like her before, and I was like, really? Thanks.
This was the question where I got this from. How this.
If you could be in any movie that you wanted, which one would you choose and why? I mean.
So, if you could be in a movie, which movie would you be in and why?
Huh.
I'm thinking One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
And why?
Because I feel a little cuckoo sometimes lately, don't you? I mean, God, everything.
Really good movie, though. The whole thing of that one, though, he wasn't crazy, though, right? He just like got in there, so he didn't have to go to
playing crazy.
Yeah,
I don't feel like a cuckoo, but a lot of people think what we think is cuckoo. You know what I mean?
Would you want to be the Jack Nicholson character or Nurse Ratched? That's different.
No, not Nurse Ratched. Oh hell no! No. She was a
The
bitch.
Indian dude they teach to play basketball.
The Indian dude was the hero of the movie.
He really kind of was.
Yep. And at the end, the last scene, he's running through the field, and then they kind of make it look like a butterfly flying away. That's what I thought. Like, yeah.
Man, there are so many movies. I'm still like filtering through all of the movies.
Yeah, if you could be in one movie, which one would you be in?
There's just too many movies.
Okay, I would say What Dreams May Come.
Wow.
And that has Cuba Gooding Jr. It has
Robin Williams.
Thank you, Robin Williams. And he's searching for his wife in the afterlife, and he sees, like, he is taken to the Akashic records. He sees people from his past that they look different. Like, one of them was his daughter, but she looked different, and one was his son, but it was from a past life. And then he had this guide that took him through, and he went through the levels of the afterlife, like from the very most beautiful, like you're flying in flowers and creating colorful trees, to hell. And it travels all through this experience where he's trying to get to the underworld. To his wife had unalived herself, and he was trying to find her. That movie is so interesting because
It's been a long time since I've seen it. It was a good movie.
Yes. Yep.
Ooh, now, Jason in chat, one of my all-time faves, because Jason's been with me forever. Constantine. Why would you want to be? Why would you choose? Because you want to be Constantine.
The dark characters in those,
or he said the Dark City. I don't think I remember Dark City, but Constantine.
Constantine was a good movie. Dark City, I'm not sure which one that is. But so, like, being a dark angel, Jason, of some kind.
And Mary Freeland said, "Still Magnolias, because I'm Southern, though, through and through." Oh,
that is such a good movie. When
really
they make the armadillo cake, and she's like, sail off the armadillo. I just laugh every time. I don't know why.
Virginia, do you remember Mystic Pizza?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, you know that goofy girl, you know, the one goofy character, the one that just, you know.
Yes.
What's her name?
I don't know her name. She's in a few things, but she's always kind of goofy.
People would tell me that I reminded them of her. Oh my
I could see that. She was in Mystic Pizza, and she was in a horror movie too, where there was like either a haunting or something like that. She was in a few things, but she's never like an A-list top liner person.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about.
It's the real goof. Yeah, people would tell me, you know, you remind me of the girl from Mystic Pizza. And the thing is I didn't watch that movie for years.
Right.
And then when I did, I'm like, what? That's bad when people tell you that.
That's exactly what I was saying about Juliette Lewis. Like she plays so many roles where she's like something's wrong with her, like she's special, or she's like, I do love her in the movie California, where she's like, Early makes me spell my cuss words.
That's with Brad Pitt, right?
Yes, it's a great movie, but she's always like something's wrong with her, or I don't know, she's always making weird ass faces, and I think I do it. I swear, I think I got like glitchy faces or something. Facial expression. Something about me reminds people of her. I don't like it.
Because everybody loves What's Eating Gilbert Grape. She was such a sweetheart, right?
Yeah.
One of my favorite movies is Natural Born Killers.
I love Natural Born Killers. Now, and I haven't seen that movie in years, but I did like that movie. But she's weird in that movie too, Virginia.
Yeah, she's a little bit weird. And she was weird in Gilbert Grape too, but she's unique. She's a free spirit kind of thing, right? So
yeah, I don't hate her. I don't, but like I wouldn't choose her to play my person, you know. But like I said, that's who I'd get. That in a real world, that's who they'd give me. Yeah, I could be mad at it. It could be worse, I guess. But I'd pick somebody like
actress' name? Was it what was her name?
What Booty? What are you talking about?
Juliet Louise? I don't know. What was her name?
Juliet Lewis.
Juliet Lewis. Okay. And who was it? Navy vet said something. Commanders. What was it?
Oh, Master and Commander. That's Russell Crowe.
So Navy vet. Who would you be? The master or the commander?
Right. That is such a good movie. Brings you into that time.
I'm still thinking. I don't want to pick a dumb one. To be a good.
I don't want to pick a dumb one.
Right? Well, like a character you think would be fun, or I can't think of
You know
one.
what? Okay, look, this isn't. I guess I'll just have to do it. It is one of my favorite movies. I like a lot. It's about the groupie Penny Lane, and Kate Hudson plays the character.
Almost Famous.
Almost Famous.
That's a great movie.
It just It just captures that time frame so well, you know. But yeah, I don't know if I didn't want to pick that one because, like, you know, felt like I could do better.
That's an awesome movie.
Yeah, she was a trip. What kind of beer? That's what she says when they finds out that he traded her off because she's a groupie for something and some beer. She like wipes the tear away and says, "What kind of beer?" She like tries to play tough. That's like one of my favorite scenes for some reason. Like, bitch, you know your feelings are hurt. Talking about what kind of beer. She tried to, like, you know, stiffen it up. I do love that movie. I bet. Have you ever seen it in Almost Famous?
No, I'm not real big on like some of these.
I bet if you saw it, you would like it though. But like,
Ecstasy, and then who's the Tiny Dancer movie?
That's Almost Famous.
Yes, they sing the song Tiny. They sing that song on the plane. Yeah, that's a good scene too. They're all like crashing, or no, that's not when they're crashing, is it? That's when they're getting along.
No, I think they're chilling in the car, or they're at the party or something. And they all sing together. They start singing it, and then the next person joins in, and yeah.
So there's this little boy that like basically wants to write for the Rolling Stones magazines, and he's kind of a nerd. He's really young. He lies about his age, and he ends up getting to like shadow this band, and like that's the whole movie. But you meet all the different characters and the groupies, and he's just like this young kid on this adventure, and it's so adorable because it's just like, you know, that time frame. What time frame was it? Like 70s,
like the late 60s, early
60s.
Something
Good night,
like that.
Pooters.
Good night, Poots.
Good night. And the mom, I was for some reason I was just quoting that movie the other day because like she holds up the record and it's an actual record, and she'd like, look at their eyes, they're on pot.
They're on pot.
That's what her mom does. And it's just something that's so freaking funny. Look at their eyes. They're on pot. Nobody says it like that.
I'm pretty sure that's Frances McDormand from Fargo.
She's the best, the mom in that movie.
Oh, yeah. She's awesome. Yes.
She like lectures him on the phone.
So
yeah, I
funny.
really love that movie. And it really is based on this famous groupie named Penny Lane or whatever. In the movie, they call him something else. But
yeah,
I don't know. It's kind of corny, but I liked it.
Jason said Heat, Val Kilmer's character.
Oh,
the one that lives. The one that lives.
The only
Oh
one.
my God, Navy vet.
I don't remember that movie either. I'm not.
He's just saying to West Virginia.
Heat was a great movie. Had Val Kilmer and Ashley Judd and a bunch of other people. I think Al Pacino, and it was a little bit gangsterish. Very, very good movie.
Huh.
Bonnie, have you thought of a movie? Are you going to be in
Breakfast Club, The Girl in Black.
Okay. Breakfast Club.
That is a great movie.
Yes.
Well, can I be in the same movie then? And we could just all be a character in the Breakfast Club. That sounds way better than my movie.
Who was the girl that played the girl?
Molly Ringwald.
Yeah. The Girl in the Black was Ali Sheedy.
Wait, is that who you were talking about, Tin? Molly Ringwald? The redhead? with the curls?
No, she said, Bonnie said Breakfast Club, the girl in black. So,
Yeah, she's talking about the goth chick, you know, that was kind of.
That's Ali Sheedy. Yep.
Flaky.
What'd you say, Bonnie?
Flaky.
Yeah, the dandruff on the paper. Yep.
She was hilarious. But yeah.
That was a good movie.
She was a little dark, and she ended up with the jock.
Oh yeah.
With the dude from Young Guns. Dang it! Somebody in chat will do it. Charlie Sheen's half brother.
Emilio Estevez.
Yeah, Emilio Estevez. She ended up with Emilio Estevez, and Molly Ringwald ended up with the bad boy, and the kid from 16 Candles.
They remind me of that movie, A Night at the Roxbury, because I'm seeing Emilio, and he's like, throughout the whole movie, they keep telling, and I was like, Emilio! He's talking about seeing him in the line. They keep telling the same tired story throughout the whole movie. He's like, and then I was like, Emilio! It's so stupid, but that movie was funny. I haven't seen that.
Cute, though.
Yep.
Yeah.
You get to put lipstick on.
What's that, Bonnie?
You get to put the lipstick on. Remember when they were showing weird things they could do?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, she put the lipstick in her boobs and like moved her face around to put the lipstick on.
She did eyeliner too with or mascara or something. Molly Ringwald did. And
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's a strange talent, but all right.
So good.
So I do want to show y'all some of this Roseanne. She actually has on this guy who says they stole the Matrix from him, and they have this. It's like, I mean, the whole thing is like 2 hours, but this is just like the very beginning when she talks about it, and I just like, that's why I like Roseanne, because only she would have this guy on, you know, like give him a platform and talk to him. But I mean, she's not the only one, but mainstream's not doing it, you know.
Wait to get into it.
Yeah.
But first I have to brag on you a little, because people, I mean, I can't even go into it. But anyways, you wrote The Matrix. Hollywood stole it from you and did a bunch of devilish shit to you using what's his name? The guy on the religious shows, Jim.
Pat Robertson.
Pat Robertson, all them CIA friggin' child sacrificers. And they fucked with you, stole your work, and everything has been going on as long as I was on TV. We got on at the very same time we became like on the deep state radar the very same year, right?
Yeah, I think they were very aware of both of us at the same time.
And they don't like neither one of us, even though they used our work to make billions.
That's right. We're unbridled. So we're going to say what we feel and put it into our art and care through our art. And there's nothing you can do to influence us away from that.
And now it's what, some 30 years later?
33.
33 is a big number,
Yes,
as
it
you
is.
know.
Oh, wow. I didn't even think about that.
We were talking about that today.
That's right. And this huge switch up where all of a sudden the climate has changed 100%. 100%. So they picked the year 33.
Daya Oak Cream Blend cured.
I swear. And then as soon as I skip it, then I miss turning the volume back up.
It go quick. I mean, from where I started, I thought, but I'm always wrong on time. Because my concept of time is,
It's not sequential.
no, it's not sequential. And it's biblical.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So I'm watching a story unfold.
Yeah.
I'm not watching what the world unfolds.
Absolutely. I felt like
Right?
we were a character in the Dune series and our bio suit just ran out of water. It was like, it couldn't have gone any later. You know, we kept going and going and going and going, like walking through a blinding, blizzard storm. And suddenly it all cleared out.
Didn't it all clear out?
It cleared out.
So it is weird. These two do have stuff in common, I guess. Like it's really the same story, kind of, you know. Both contributed something that they just wanted to take over and just kick them out, basically. But Bender was the hero. We're talking about Futurama. Wait. Bender. Oh, no. Bender from... I was thinking about the robot from Futurama. From the other movie. Yes. But they do go. This actually ends up tying into Elon Musk, believe it or not. And he talks about the different rituals they put him through, different appearances he made, and he breaks them down. And it was actually super interesting. And like I said, it's like that's what makes me like Roseanne so much, because she is interested in things that are interesting, not just things that are being pushed. You know, she
thinks outside of the box, and she does not conform. She never has. I respect that consistency, you know. And by the way, I was noticing she looks really damn good.
She really does.
She does. She's not doing all that. Maybe she's had a little nip here or there, but she does not have that weird morphic look that all the celebrities and people they start to do. You know, she's rocking her red lipstick and putting on her hair bow, but she doesn't look artificial. She looks like a real person of her age, being authentic over time consistently. And that's why I like her. I've always loved her.
They actually talk about a lot of stuff, Jason. They of course changed it. Even the most crazy part to me was the red pill and the blue pill, and he actually uses the achrome word. And like that's what the red, it's trippy. I'm definitely going to play that one before I try to decipher it, because I'll say it wrong. But there was a lot in there. I mean, honestly, it was 2 hours long, and I really was entertained the entire time. So if anybody it's right on her regular channel, if you wanted to go look it up, because I mean, it really was pretty good. We'll talk a little bit about the
It's time to frown.
Oh no, the fraud.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try that stuff. I'm serious, but I'm gonna go at it a little different. Like I'm gonna probably do half whatever they say and just try it and see. Because I'm always, I don't know, I'm paranoid about things. Because like you never know what you could be allergic to or something. You know, even if it is natural, I don't know. I would rather take things that are natural, though. Absolutely.
It's working. I've been on it, for almost a month now.
Yeah.
Can't you tell a little bit of a change in me, guys? Just a little bit. My husband is.
Compared to a few weeks ago, I would say yes.
Yeah.
You're much calmer. I definitely agree with that.
And it's all natural. That's the good part.
Yeah.
Well, you could try, like, if you eat yellow rice, because saffron is the ingredient in that. If that doesn't, as far as allergies and stuff, saffron is in a lot of foods, and you could get a little bit, and then,
that's what basically, like everything, no matter what it is, I take less than whatever it says the first time, and sometimes I don't even up it. If it works,
That's the way I do.
I mean, because sometimes you don't even need that much, and it works. If you're low tolerance to things, because I don't like to take anything. So for example, it's gonna sound dumb, but like Tylenol or ibuprofen, they say 2, right? I first off don't like to take them at all, but if I do, I'll start with 1, even though you don't have to. You're allowed to take 2. I start with 1, and if it doesn't work in 20 or 30 minutes, then I take the other. And so many times I just don't take the other. It works, because I don't take them much. Anyway, I don't know. That's just the way I do it. Everybody does.
I was only supposed to take 1, but I couldn't see the. Okay, I didn't read the bottle very good because I didn't have my cheaters on. Okay, and I figured, 2, take 2 aspirin. Take 2 of these and call the doctor in the morning. Shit, yeah. Oh yeah, But yeah, it's
basically on the opposite of the spectrum here. I'm all like, I'll take less. You're like, I take more. It's like somebody needs to get right in the middle of the 2 of us, and they'll be doing good.
Yeah, Mary says yeah, you guys, it's really helped. So, really helped. So, and I don't take anything, that's except for this now. And you guys, yeah, if you're having any stress I highly recommend it, and I'm not selling this shit. So,
well, you should get a kickback, dude. You talk about it. You should get I know you don't.
No, I talked about Lumi forever too, but I never got a kickback from them. I just like their product. Yeah, if I like something, I'm going to tell you, but that doesn't mean I'm pumping this shit. No, I don't do that shit. No.
All right.
I am not going to be no QVC of YouTube. Nope. Anyhow. So, yeah.
Well, I'm glad they're working. I'm glad it works. And I will probably try it. I mean, I'd be dumb not to. And I just won't take it on regular, just, only if I'm stressed out or something like that, and see how they do on the days that I do take them. See if I have better days than a regular day that I don't, like
the world's been really stressful since January, everything in the world.
Right.
And it seems like times like they're stealing time from us or something. Does it feel like time's going by fast for you guys? It seems
I do think it is. Absolutely, I do. I've been saying that. But, I do know as you get older, it does go faster. So it's like, I don't know if it's which one it is. Maybe a little bit of both, But,
And what's this shit about a cat being... Somebody filmed something in their house and a cat just, appeared?
I don't know. I didn't hear it.
Yeah, I got to find that.
Okay. Well, I'm going to play this for 2 minutes, this whole Roseanne thing. And if you find,
okay. Sorry.
No, you're good. If you find the cat thing, we'll play that too.
I'll look for it
too. Oh, crap. Here I go.
Absolutely. And brought a lot of hope.
The value of having a partner is huge. Finding someone you can trust is what really builds the business from the base.
Well, the frick done. And sometimes when I'm trying to make flashy edits like this, I also get pretty intimidated.
Don't wait. Pledge your body and take back control.
Rounded in ads.
Because Trump got elected.
So yes, absolutely. Our dear president has done a bang up job. Absolutely. And brought a lot of hope. A lot of people try to misguide him and take him different directions. He's catching on fast, though. He's catching on to certain individuals that were going to mislead him, and he's growing and learning as he goes, which as a screenwriter, to me, makes a better character.
It does make a better character.
If you're a fish out of water, you catch it, you catch and grow as you go. You're a more dynamic character.
Well, isn't that kind of the story of Neo?
It is. I was writing
in The Matrix.
Yeah, I was modeling after myself. It's funny they call him Thomas A, because I modeled Neo after myself. As a young writer, I'm trying to flesh the character out. I've got to know how he's going to react. So I'm going to model after myself how I'm going to react and bring up the situations and try to be honest with those reactions.
Can I interject for one second? For those of you who aren't going to watch the first episode, because there's a lot of lazy people out of there, you wrote a script called The Immortals.
I'll hold it up.
And
So this is-
I want to
yeah.
fill people in. I'll do it in Cliff Notes versions. And it was stolen by the Wachowski brothers and turned into The Matrix, is what you're claiming, yes?
Yes, and you have to say alleged. I know.
I do.
Allegedly.
But even though we know what's going on,
They
it's
were
like,
allegedly women who allegedly stole your shit.
that allegedly just happened to get it from Joel Silver, who allegedly just got it from Bonaventura.
Highly recommend
when
the
I
first
allegedly
episode.
just
The
wrote
red pill, the blue pill, it's all in there. It's all in this original script you wrote in 93?
93.
93.
Yeah,
and we
starting
have,
in 89.
and he sued, and that's an ongoing legal stuff you'll get into later.
That's the funny thing too. Just cap that real quick. Is they brought me their own attorneys to have me sue. I had no intention to sue. I didn't know what was going on. They brought me their own attorneys, in-house defense attorneys, to make sure they handled the whole show at the statute of limitations. So I had no intention of suing, and we actually won. And they blocked us from claiming the win. So it's much deeper. But I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah.
But this is the only in existence copyrighted screenplay of the Matrix story. And they actually Warner Bros. Copyrighted the Immortals title, not Matrix. Look it up. They assigned to Keanu Reeves. Tom
Hanks.
Tom Hanks, thank you. Tom Hanks was given a copyright entry of 3 pages long, not a screenplay, just saying that he is commissioned and ordered by Warner Brothers and HBO, who did Game of Thrones, to steal this work. So, yeah.
It's all your work. I mean, I see so many things on TV that are stolen directly from me, like this show, Hacks. That's my.
I didn't know that about the show Hacks, that was supposedly about her, but it makes sense now that I actually did watch it a while back. I had no idea it was supposed to be about her.
Oh.
But there's a lot in here. They actually talk about at the very end, which we're far from, but at the very end, they talk about like a good person in the CIA, somebody that looked out for him. And they talk about like a civil war inside of the CIA. And I'm like, man, that's some deep, the conversations, man. I'm just saying, this is the perfect two people. Sometimes she just has this, and he even says that at some point, that it was destined by God for him to be here in this moment and be talking about these things. And it's just, I don't know, it's kind of intense, man. I enjoyed it a lot. It's weird because I think she's really just enjoying herself, but these conversations, a lot of information. I had no idea. And it does seem like this guy's going to get, everything's going to work out for him. Because somebody helped.
She's a good interviewer because she's informed, and that's what makes it so like engrossing,
Well, she
knows
actually
what to ask.
in this one, and she went off a couple times and veered the conversation, but it always made its way back because her son is so good at. He even did what he does to Roseanne to the guy that was being interviewed. So her son, let's not sleep on him. Like the guy even goes, man, I wish I knew exactly where this was so I could play it for you. Because it's definitely in the same interview. He kind of gets him back on track. And the guy was like, thanks or something. He's like, yeah, it's what I do. Basically, he does it with his mom all the time. And he like somehow starts helping this guy. Like he's, it's pretty cool. It was just a cool moment that if you watch enough of it, you realize what he's just good at what he does. Like I said, he's kind of like her handler, but I think it's in a good way.
Right. Agreed.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. See, there's so much, like the weather. There's
toxic.
I'm assuming that, but so there was that, and what was the other weather thing? Tin was talking about, like these are just totally opposite natural disasters, but maybe even, I don't know if it's intentional or not. Some of it is Mother Nature, right? But it's crazy. Right. I wouldn't rule out that they could do things to bring about things. I just don't want to have to think that every time. I hate it's stressful to think that something could be so evil to do this on purpose,
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's got to be Texas then. Mm-hmm. Oh, Mary.
Hurricane season coming soon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's the viral video that's going around, and I don't know what to say. Oh, watch it. Here we go. It's 16 seconds. Somebody caught this on their Ring camera. Just a sec here. Did you see that? Let me go back. It's like a flash of light, and this cat appears on somebody's Ring camera. And this is going viral, and everybody thinks a cat jumped through a porthole, and it's like, well, I don't know.
Isn't there something called the cat from outer space, or am I mixing two things together?
There's weird shit going on with cats right now. A bunch of them are in Florida or something, or like what's going on with the fucking cats? But this is the viral video, just so you guys, if anybody talks about a cat in a porthole and a Ring camera, this is it, and I don't know what to say. What if that was thunder, lightning, and the cat just happened to, but like does not, I don't know. What do you guys think? Oh, I like what Doc P said. Feline phenomenon. Yeah, everything's a phenomenon now, or an anomaly.
Right meow.
Right meow. Exactly.
Oh, meow, meow. Listen here, meow.
Right. Troopers is the funniest movie ever. Like it's yeah.
I think that
you saying, Cole, I think it was.
What is it?
Super Troopers.
Yeah, that part where he's like,
yes,
pull over, and he's like, I can't pull over anymore. I've already pulled over. I think that reference comes to me for so many things. Like people, I'll think it all the time. Like they'll be like, do this. I'll be like, I can't do this anymore, and like nobody will get the reference, so I just don't do it. But yeah, that part was so fun. I can't pull over. I've already pulled over. Can't pull over anymore. It's such a stoner movie, but it was pretty funny.
Oh, I love those kind.
Man,
there are portals. So if you guys ever look into MH370, that airline,
yeah,
they really didn't find much, right? But then they all of a sudden there's this weird like radar or tracking imaging, whatever, GPS, I don't know, satellite images, and it kind of seems like there's a flash, kind of like that cat was, and the plane disappeared in this flash. And I don't think they have found much. Do you know what the one I'm talking about, Cola?
Yeah.
It was
The Malaysian Airlines.
It was going from.
There were a bunch of people
planes.
on
You remember this chick, right? On talking about plane incidences.
I'm telling you right now.
When I was watching all those like alien things from the other week, I was thinking about this chick too. Like she saw something. She's like 4 octaves above, normal.
That back there is not real. Say whatever you want. I'm telling you, I'm getting the off, and there's a reason why I'm getting the off, and everyone can either believe it or they cannot believe it. I don't give 2 but I am telling you right now, that back there is not real. And you can sit on this plane and you can die with it or not. I'm not going to.
Did they show the dude close up that he's talking about?
Not in this video, but people say they remember a guy in a hoodie, that it was a person, but that it was a person that wasn't real. Like to her, that's what she believed, I don't know. I never forgot about this chick. I wish I could, because I feel like she saw something. And then like you never heard from that chick anymore, Not really. When you did, I didn't believe it. Tomorrow is the bug. Sorry, I'm just saying all this weird stuff, like
The buck moon. It's a full moon tomorrow. 4:37 p.m.
Isn't it a blood moon tomorrow too? And some kind of celestial lineup of shit.
I'm not sure about a blood moon. Looking at my calendar, it has it's like a farmer's almanac. Just says full moon, 4:37 p.m. in Capricorn.
Today was supposed to be the shortest day in history.
What do you mean?
As far as
I did see that, and I forgot to look into that. Like I saw an article about that. Somebody sent it to me. Yeah, it's crazy. Go ahead, Bonnie. Sorry, I'm agreeing with you.
There's 3 dates, but today was the shortest. Next is in August, is it?
What do they? But by shortest day in history, what do they mean? Like based on what?
I guess the sunrise.
Okay.
That maybe, or
like the shortest day during a summer solstice or a summer, the shortest summer day with the sun.
It just said the shortest day in history.
Okay, interesting.
Well, they stole at least a minute from us.
Yeah.
So what are you talking? You're talking about that, but now you're making me think of that Epstein stuff where they just deleted that minute out. I know you're talking about something different, but I'm like, that could work on 2 levels. They totally did steal a minute from us 2 different times.
Yeah, because my devices, like if you guys look at your devices, it probably says 17, right? Like 11 or whatever, 17, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, the atomic clock says it's 19 now because it just turned 18. So the atomic clock on my wall is telling me that we're a minute faster technically, but we all are on this time. So maybe at the end of the year when there's 7 minutes that they steal, maybe that's when the jumpers jump. They got 7 minutes.
Well, the reason that I heard is because the Earth is spinning faster. I read.
Bonnie, do you feel dizzy?
I'm sorry?
Do you feel dizzy?
No more than usual, no.
Okay. And the Earth isn't spinning any faster. They're just telling us that.
All right. So you think it's a tilt then, Tin? Like a tilt? Or do you think it's a different phenomenon?
It's a different one. I don't even believe in a tilt.
Okay.
I believe the poles do move in a way, like I've seen that, but tilting, no.
Well, and also it's supposed to be affecting the core, the liquid in the core.
Yeah. The what is it? What is that shit? You know, the stuff in the ball, and you touch it, and the electricity goes
Static
around.
electricity?
Remember those balls like in the 80s and they look like static? What was it? What the stuff inside of it? That stuff. God, sorry, the frog's kicking in.
Yeah, like those science balls that you.
I'd say
Plasma.
static.
It's the plasma. They say that's happening.
Yeah.
I think we're heating up because the sun's really active and our magnetosphere is very thin. And it doesn't help old Elon there, going fucking around trying to punch a hole through this shit, okay? And you did. You punched through. I know you punched through because that last rocket went off, it ended up different than the rest of them.
Are you trying to share this video there, Tin?
Oh, yeah. This is on portals, you guys.
There's no sound.
Portals, look.
There it is.
Wormholes, yeah? You know the maddest thing? It's not a conspiracy theory. Do you know the person who came up with the explanation or theory for wormholes or portals? It was actually Albert Einstein. He thoroughly believed in these wormholes and the concept that you could bend space-time. You can bend it and travel between distant places in the blink of an eye. So no, this is not sci-fi or some movie. Here's one floating in the sky. And you have artificial portals, what we call stargates, and you have natural portals to do with the energy spots on the planet or the Earth. Do you understand? So there was supposed to be this guy. You might be familiar with this video here. I'm sorry about the sound. The original videos have got sound in, but they got that stupid music. This guy was supposed to have disappeared through this portal, in front of the eyes of his friend. And like I said, these videos have got sound in them, so you can hear the discussions they're having and stuff. The guy disappeared, ain't nobody found him. Apparently he's ended up on some other world. You see that? You're looking at portals. Whether you believe in these videos or not, portals are a reality, stargates, wormholes, whatever you want to call it, that exist between, like bridges between dimensions. And they've always got them, showing them in their movies and their Netflix series and whatnot. All of them. They show you this shit here like it's staple diet. Yeah, but they portray it like it's some type of sci-fi, when really, like we know these devils do, they have to tell you what they're doing. So they put it in your face. Yeah, they put it right under your nose. And most of us are so full of fluoride, we don't even know that they're putting it under our nose. We have no idea that this is reality and not sci-fi, as they coined the word sci-fi to make you think that it's not real. Sci-fi is now science fact. Mafia for life.
And I believe in those things too. Because what the hell did we go into Iran or Iraq for? There was something there. And why'd we spend so much time knocking down all their history and their and pillaging their shit? Help me out here, Virginia. I'm having a hard time.
There was that portal there, and they took out like libraries of shit. It was library of something, and all kinds of artifacts and information gone. And yes, and this goes back to Nebuchadnezzar, and why did we go in? And then you see stories of where some of those dudes saw giants.
Yeah.
Or, some beings. I mean, I think this is all around the world that we have portals. Maybe we're not even moving, we're fixed, but we have portals here, and then everything around us is moving.
I got one even better for you.
Uh-oh. Too many buttons. Yeah, Michael Hood. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These things are real. They've been studied for a long time. We are not privy to all the ins and outs, but we know it's there, you know. Remote viewing is 100%.
Oh, that makes me really mad. Because, guess what, you guys? Because I'm going to show you something a little bit weird. I'm sure you already heard about it, but it making me now think, oh, wow. Okay, there are portholes. Because how in the hell are there lions in Colorado?
Wild lion pack pride group that was just discovered outside of Denver, Colorado. And now the scientific experts think that they've been there for 20 to 25 years, unbeknownst to the Coloradoans, populancers. And so a guy named Trevor.
Okay, okay, so this story's going all over too. And they're trying to say that they've been hiding out in Colorado for 20 years and nobody and all of a sudden they just, okay, that, to me, these guys went through a portal. Something happened. How the hell are they out in the wild there in Colorado?
Right. Well, is it AI? Do we know this is real?
Let me find the other one on it. There's been a bunch of people that have reported on this. Let's see, Rick. Is this the one? Mountain lions. Just a sec here.
So he's saying only 52. So easy.
Well, real quick while you look for that.
Yeah, because now they're not letting me find it. I hate TikTok. I hate you.
No, my stuff's locking up. What the heck? No, we're good.
Oh, what if they were mountain lions?
These are not people that make.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Would mountain lions be in Colorado?
Yes.
So maybe those were mountain lions and the guy just didn't know because I didn't see a big. Never mind. Okay.
Stories. They said
years ago there was a lot of briefing going on with President Donald Trump,
and they were in the Oval Office, 3 or 4 pilots. These are not people that make up stories. They said, all I know, sir, is there was a round object that was going 4 times faster than my F-22, which is a very fast plane. And it wasn't, it shouldn't have been. It was round, sir. They have seen, 4 or 5 guys I've interviewed, solid people, great pilots for the U.S. Air Force, etc. They've seen things that they cannot explain.
Talking about President Trump and how David Grush allegedly briefed him about Nordic beings and hybrids. He uses
I know it's random, but yeah, I was hoping to fit that in there, and we're talking about all the similar things. So, why not? I don't know. I think there's something. We'll probably get some type of disclosure on these types of things. And I don't know, aliens, portals, isn't it all kind of in the same sphere, so to speak, like kind of the same things?
Definitely. Because it's things we don't know about. And they lied to us about virtually everything all my adult life. So, nothing's off the table. I'm game to listen.
There's so many random. I didn't spend a lot of time finding stuff this time. Less than usual, but I didn't even finish this. I got 75% of the way through, and everything that I saw was I want to share this, but I'm an expert on this subject.
Canny.
One Michael Poo D745 is what I was talking about.
I don't recognize that name.
Well, I know, and I know it's unusual, but
that
Snapper.
the Nordic
That's
people
you.
are the Nordic aliens are
What are you saying, Bonnie? I should drop the link.
I would. I'm interested to see what he has to say because he seems to know what he's talking about up here.
I guess if anything crazy happens, I can just shut it down in private. But I don't know if my mod is sleeping.
You better have clothes on.
Have
Well,
you
there
closed
is
A mod. I would have a mod look it up first. And then
And if that's you snappers, don't even try. Don't even try to ruin Cola's stream.
right.
I
You can
swear.
also full screen yourself, Cola, and look in the back.
Yeah, there's a way to make yourself big, so to speak, and then you can say, turn your camera on or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can't click it.
He's been a member since 21.
Okay, well, can somebody drop the link? Because I don't think Billy's awake. I mean, honestly, I'm sorry.
Let me. Yes, I can do that.
All right, I'm going to play this for a second while you put. Oh, wrong one. Hold on. I got 2 tabs again. But while we're waiting, anyways.
Like a few hundred years more advanced than we are, but they're not super advanced. They're not like whatever is sending the grays is extremely advanced, like thousands and thousands of years more advanced than us, because it's doing all the anti-gravity stuff, all the crazy, all this crazy stuff that's very highly advanced. And a lot of it is what he says with the grays is psionic. So they basically don't have physical interfaces. They're using their mind, and that there's an interface that picks up thought, and then that and that's how they operate these vehicles, is out of psionic. But the Nordic people somewhat resemble humans, and they have been experimenting with crossbreeding with humans. And he says some of them, that there are aliens that are crossbreeds living in the world.
So we got us.
The shit is, they even start to talk about the fallen, because it's almost biblical. They're dang near doing the biblical version, which makes it more believable, in my opinion. I'm
not going to call myself a Nordic person anymore, because then they're going to think I'm one of those tall. No, and I'm only 5 foot tall, but I'm Norwegian. I thought that was a Nordic. Oh, I ain't going to do that again.
Well, like I said, this is all, I don't know. Oh, here we go. Let's see. How do I do it? Can you turn your camera on in the backstage?
It's not snappers, is it?
I don't know. Can you turn the camera on just so that we can?
Yeah. Yeah. You got to show your
face. All right,
face.
you're good. You can turn it back off. All right. Well, we'll go ahead. What's up?
Yeah, how y'all doing? Yeah, I know y'all kind of cautious and stuff like that. Yeah, there's a lot of idiots out there on this YouTube thing and shit.
Yes.
I should have, but it worked out okay.
Okay, yeah, we're good.
Snappers?
Everything's fine.
Do you know snappers? Do you know snappers? Snappers.
No,
Okay, good deal.
No, I don't. I know YouTube is very vast. I've been on like 200 shows in the past 90 days. I mean, I'm everywhere, but no, I never heard of that person.
No, it's snafu snappers. That's snappers.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
As long as you don't know that, then you're all good to go. So.
Yeah, we're good. Everything's good. How y'all ladies doing?
Solo thing, you're right. So what's your expertise you were wanting to say? Because Bonnie,
oh no,
we can. She's like, I want to hear.
I just heard you playing a guy about. I heard you playing a guy about psionics and all that. I was just about to mention that in the chat room about psionics and anti-gravitational. I mean, what are y'all? What do you think was going on? Like,
it's magnets. They're using magnets.
Well, not with when we're talking about with psionics.
Oh no, you said yeah. Anti-gravity.
Anti-gravitational, yes, it's like a bubble. I'm saying layman terms, like a bubble around the craft. It's kind of like you're out of this dimension and you're in the dimension, but it keeps you from hitting the side of the craft when you're going like 10 G. Our craft can turn real quick and go this way real quick, but when you're inside that bubble that's keeping you in there, there's no gravitational field of inertia of you moving and hitting the side of the wall when you're in the craft. See what I'm saying?
Did you fly one?
Huh?
Have you flown one?
Well, that's classified. You can talk about some stuff. No. Classified information. We don't need to. The guy might be listening. I don't know. 52 might be listening.
Out, like,
Huh?
I'm like, your avatar's freaking me out.
Yeah, no, we're good. It's fine. I just came across you. I was like, okay, you're talking about some cool stuff. Go ahead. I didn't cut you off.
So what do you think about the portals?
Well, the portals, it's different types of portals. You know, you got man-made portals, you got extraterrestrial portals, and you got natural portals. It's different types of portals. The ones that are natural that it has been sealed up and taken over by the intelligence community and the militaries around the world. We don't ever see them. And a lot of those are underground. There's a lot of caverns and places because a lot of people talk about flat Earth. I know y'all ain't no flat earthers.
No, I'm not.
No,
Okay.
not necessarily.
I almost am.
Almost saying, but you need to study Agartha. Y'all ever heard of Agartha?
All right, I'll think about that. But I've looked at a lot of things, and I don't think our space that we live in is anything like what we're told it is. How it looks, how it's described. I think the firmament is a thing. I think that outer space is water. I think that there are things moving around us, but that we're fixed.
Okay, we'll kind of start with the outer space. The firmament is not above us. The firmament is at the edge of the universe. That's what the firmament is. Like they tell us that it's a dome right over us and there's water above us. No, that was a lie. That's a psyop to keep people off the trail of what's really going out there in space. There's a whole business of things going out there in space. You got mining going on moons like Europa and Titan moons. There's bases on there. There's bases on the dark side of the moon. There's a galactic council that's on the moon.
The Galactic
And what they
Federation.
do,
So
Galactic Federation, you want to call it?
With the Galactic Federation, because I know many people in that, and I understand what that is. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's cool. That simplifies things. I think a lot of us can understand where you're coming from.
Mhm.
So do you think there's a fringe society sort of protecting us?
Yeah, see, the ones that protect them, they sit back and watch. They don't interfere at all, even out there in space with the galactic war going on. That they're fighting them beings out there, but Earth is let's let them give the free will for us to waken up, for ourselves to waken up. They don't want to force us to wake up. They want us naturally to wake up and see the corruption and how this part of the Milky Way is a dead zone. It was thriving. Now it's just taken over by the Draconian Empire.
Okay.
Now you got the Dracos and stuff. Yeah, they have taken over this sector of the Milky Way galaxy, if you want to say, for thousands of years. Yeah.
Well, can we do a minute and a half real quick? I want to share this part. They talk about a contract with Mars and a treaty with the Grace, and like back in 1950. And it's only like a minute and a half, and we'll be right back to this conversation.
That was Alternative 3. Yeah. Go ahead, play it. Alternative 3. That's what.
Well, the retired general said the US and Israel have kept it from the public because, quotes, humanity isn't ready and the aliens don't want to reveal themselves until humanity can evolve, he says, and understand what space really is. Well, the good news is that
do we really know space now?
has been reached between the US government and the aliens. A contract to do experiments here. There's also, he says, a secret underground base on Mars where there are American and alien representatives.
And as far as what they've been claiming, it seems like the story is far more interesting than what I've expected.
Eisenhower, the Greater Treaty. I don't know if you're familiar with the Greater Treaty, and Eisenhower, where the Greys were the aggressive aliens, and they had negative motives, all this other stuff, and an article's written, Rob, if you can pull this up, by WAPO. I think this was written in February 20th, 1954. It says Ike and the Alien Ambassadors. That's the name of the article. There you go. So February 20, 1954, story comes out that Eisenhower, while he's on vacation, steps out. He says, no, I got to get away from this vacation here to have a meeting with the Greys, because apparently they wanted us to stop. There you go. The 50 years, that was written 50 years ago tomorrow, on February 20, President Eisenhower interrupted his vacation in Palm Springs to make a secret trip to a nearby Air Force base to meet 2 extraterrestrial aliens, or maybe not. Maybe Ike was just going to the dentist. There's some dispute about this. Anyways, and they said, hey, we want you to stop pursuing with the nuclear weapons. Give it to us. In return, we'll give you some advanced technology.
In return, we'll give you advanced technology. So that's just one clip. We can do another one in a minute.
Well, that's true. And
the second time, there's actually another time that Eisenhower made a deal with the aliens. Like, I didn't know any of
2 times.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I'm gonna cut you off. But the thing is, it was David Rockefeller and Henry Kissinger who was behind all this stuff. Especially Henry Kissinger. They started in J12. You ever heard of Majestic 12?
Yeah, all about it.
Yeah.
So it goes deep. The rabbit hole goes very deep, and a lot of people like Tim, that guy, I know who he is. I'm sure they don't really get to the meat and potatoes. They'll say a little bit, and that's it. But it was really him, Henry Kissinger, and David Rockefeller group that really founded the Majestic 12 group. And Majestic 12, all it was to keep it hidden. Come out with this information. Yeah. So you know about that. You know about the Avery?
We all do.
You know about the Avery?
Dude, I believe it's possible. There have been, because I saw the paperwork on it and the inventory lists and the crew lists of when they were starting these fringe civilizations from Earth going out, because they'd figured shit out beforehand. And we've had these projects going on for decades. It's an interesting thought. And to connect with the other beings, there are the people I've seen interviews, they say somewhere around 10 or 12
Mars.
Mars is a big one. I'm just talking about other beings, about 10 or 12 other varieties, like you said, the Greys. There's the Arcturians, there's the Pleiadians, there's
the insectoids, you got Lyrans. You ever heard of Lyrans, right?
Yes. Yep. And they all come from different systems. It's an intriguing idea. So, I don't know. Like, are they really? And if they are real, are they going to do us any good?
I mean, they just sitting back waiting to see what we're going to do. The good ones, the bad ones.
To war. They don't want us to use our nukes. That's what they're always near nuclear facilities. That seems like pretty transparent, just the fact that that's where they're always at. But I don't know. If you don't mind,
you remember what the Bible says. Go ahead.
No, what about the Bible? The fallen angels and
Bible
such?
talks, but all that goes and coincides with this, with everything that's going on.
And everything. Yeah, they actually, I feel like, I thought they tied it in, but it might be this clip right here. They may tie it in there. But they definitely talk about the second time with Eisenhower as well. Okay.
Because they're saying the Greys are subspace beings. They're android, biological android beings. They're like worker bees for the reptilians, Draco system command center. So all they do is just do the dirty work for them. Now you got tall Greys, you got different types of species of Greys. Like people just think, just small Grey. Like no, small ones work with the reptilians. They're subspace humans. There's a hive mind being that controls the whole epic center of their mind frame. And he's not good at all. People that remote view this person. It's not a being at all. It's an entity. And a remote view this entity got kicked out. The entity chased them away, followed them back home to their house, and looked at them like, told their mind like, you're not even worthy for me, and just dashed off like, Tosh. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who are you?
Right. But you're tapping into the matrix, basically, you know, the collective conscious, the Akashic record, all of those things.
All that, yeah.
That's what you're describing, all of that, yeah.
Right quick, Faith is saying, what does this have to do with the Bible? We were just saying in the part where it's really Enoch more than the Bible, technically, right? Where the fallen angels mate with the humans to produce giants, and they call them Nephilim.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of ties.
You're correct.
So, well, she was asking, and I just didn't want to. I mean, what does it have to do with aliens? So the giants that were produced that were called Nephilim, they were part angel but part human. But maybe that is one of the alien. That would be alien. I mean, it's alien. Where it's not human.
Demigods. And how do you define that? It's technically extraterrestrial. You know, that's that weird language they use with it. A lot of people think that aliens, if they came out of the sky, they think they're demons. Like immediately, I've asked people if an alien cracked through the sky through a UFO and just walked out, be like, nope, that's a demon. And
yeah, a lot of people saying that. Yeah,
yeah,
I don't even know what they're talking about.
Either way, neither thing would surprise me. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and play this real quick, y'all. Or what's up, Bonnie? Sorry. As soon as I said that, I heard your voice.
Sorry. Are they among us?
Yeah, I mean that's what they said in the beginning one, that they were among us. And I don't know, maybe not all variations, but maybe some. But real quick, this is the second Eisenhower thing, because I would mess it up trying to quote it, so I'll just play it.
Okay.
Dwight D. Eisenhower met with extraterrestrials.
Question.
Yes. Like, okay. Is that what they call the reptilians?
I think it could be one of them. Yeah, why not? A variation.
One of the varieties are reptilians, but not all of them. There's different varieties.
Yeah, there's different species of reptilians. Yeah, you got inner Earth reptilians that are natives to this planet Earth. Then you got the ones that's from the Draco Orion constellation.
Mm-hmm.
So does CERN have anything to do with this?
I mean, it has to do with the portals.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Is it cool if I play it real quick? I just want to get this
go
one.
ahead, yeah.
I'm sorry, y'all.
In 1954 and in 1955, and they told them to stop making nukes. Let me explain. In February of 1954, the 34th president of the United States, Dwight D. Eisenhower, was in the early stages of his new presidency. He was elected the year prior in 1953, and before that, he was a decorated military man and actually served as the supreme commander of the Allied Expeditionary Forces during World War II. He also achieved the 5-star rank of general in the Army. Now, I'm telling you all that to show you how this man wasn't dumb and he knew what he was doing. In February of 1954, Eisenhower went on vacation to Palm Springs, California for a couple weeks. But on the first Saturday of this trip, he wasn't seen at all. Like, at all. So for a full 24 hours, no one knew where the president of the U.S. was, or so they say. Now, that's a big deal if you didn't know. Tabs are kept on the president at all times to make sure, they're okay, that they're doing okay, they're not dying or whatever. So for 24 hours, this man was missing to the public eye. And during that 24-hour period, he actually missed a public dinner that he was scheduled to be at, which is also a big thing for a president. They typically don't dodge that sort of public thing. Of course, with a missing president, the press started to ask, where's Dwight at? And the White House's answer was that he was seeing a dentist. But when pushed even further for his dental records, it was found that no appointment was made during the trip to Palm Springs. And after that dentist story fell through, the same night, several news outlets, including the Associated Press, made reports that Eisenhower actually died from a heart attack while at Palm Springs. And there's even a picture of him in a wheelchair and news headlines saying that he died. But just minutes after this was made public, they took it back. And instead, they said, yeah, he had a heart attack, but he's fine. He's not dead. Insider reports claim that the president was taken to Edwards Air Force Base on that Saturday, which is in the Californian desert, just a few hours from Palm Springs. And this is when the story gets crazy. When he arrived at the Air Force Base, several whistleblowers claimed that he met with, quote, Nordic extraterrestrials, which is a pretty interesting way to describe ETs. There's been some whistleblowers that have described what they look like to artists, and these are some of the renditions that have been made. Now, these Nordic ETs supposedly asked Eisenhower to stop all work on the USA's nuclear program and to never start it back up again. But of course, he refused the request. The crazy thing is that this interaction with Nordic ETs in 1954 isn't even the only interaction that Eisenhower had with ET life, because a year later in 1955, it said that the president met multiple times with different races of ETs. These races were not Nordic. These meetings took place at Holloman.
Oh my gosh.
If free isn't your favorite word, feel free to skip this ad because we are giving away these Trump mystery boxes for
Air Force Base, which in and of itself has been a hot.
They do leave out a lot of information where it gets deeper than that. He signed a treaty with the Greys for exchange for human abduction, but the list was they can only take a certain amount of people during that time. But the Greys started taking more people than what they should do, and the treaty got broken. And then they had a war down there. Ever heard of Nightmare Hall?
Not sure on that one.
It's a Dulce base. You ever heard of Dulce base?
I know about Dulce, yeah.
Yeah, Dulce is go ahead, man. Let me change this before I get in trouble. This avatar, I'm gonna get in trouble. Let me change that back to that. Yeah, so go ahead, man.
If we're going biblical, why is it looking like Revelations is being played out purposely?
That's a good question.
A lot of people. Well, you said biblically, but have you heard of Project Bluebeam, Michael?
Yeah, I'm well versed on Project Bluebeam. To me,
how do you know the difference
go ahead.
between the fake version and actually what real life forms and stuff? How do you know the difference between?
You'll feel if you're awakened, like you're all awakened. I can feel your energy. People who are awakened moving in a high frequency range will know what's fake and what's real. You'll know the difference. Blue beam is going to be mixed in with the real thing and the fake thing. And this is a theory that I put together that when the time comes that the governments around the world and these extraterrestrial beings, they're going to cover up the rapture and bring in this new world order, this galactic new age where it's peace, you can heal, they got technology, a person blind, they can see, a person lost their arm, they can get it back in 30 days, stuff like that. And they're going to bring this technology to the world. And the technology people will think is supernatural, but really it's the technology that the fallen ones has lost their supernatural ability, but they know technology, like Lucifer and all that. But they'll cover up the rapture. I'm not saying it's going to happen that way, but it's just a theory that I got. Go ahead.
Yeah. Or they might manipulate what it is or looks like. So, like, if you, considering the Galactic Federation idea, if you saw some shit crack through the sky and certain beings come out, what would you think?
Well, that's cool.
I would know it's time because I've been in the AstroWorld and seen working with military and being run up on by the military of this is what they're planning. But they're all planning it in the astral world. That's the crazy thing, and manifested it into this reality.
Okay, so I am gonna do one more clip and probably do a backstage because I've been on a while. But hopefully you won't leave. And I
won't leave. Well, I'm having a couple of drinks. That's the only way I can talk about this with drinks.
Well, one more backstage. It is less. I mean, that's my.
Yeah, we can say anything. Yeah, backstage. Yeah, we go backstage.
But this is like 2 minutes. I do want to play it so everybody sees it, and then we'll probably say our goodbyes and go to the back. Open it up for 2 more spots if anybody wants to come back, and I think 10 might be coming back too. But yeah, I've just been going for a really long time. Oh, wrong one. I'm gonna have to do some more Roseanne another night.
Look how pretty she looks, though, for real.
She's beautiful. Yeah. So they're talking. Yeah, dude, that is such a good one. I'm telling you, I'm gonna have to do it next week. They're talking about the dude that wrote the Matrix and even just details about the variations on. Is it still showing Roseanne on the screen? Shoot, it is, isn't it? Okay, stop then. But yeah, it was a really great interview. It was like 2 hours. I really did enjoy it. Hey, Miss Mendersu. But yeah, this is just 2 minutes and I just have too many tabs open. All right, let's see.
I think I've been going for like 3 hours.
Mm-hmm. Almost
newspaper headlines, lies about Dwight's whereabouts, whistleblowers, eyewitness encounters, and
This is the granddaughter of Eisenhower speaking out. I thought
his own great-granddaughter, all claiming that on multiple occasions, Eisenhower and his administration met with extraterrestrial life.
How much of this do you think is a myth? But this is WAPO writing about this. Right. How much of this do you think there's credibility behind it?
The only credibility I can come up with is what I heard from his own bloodline. And that would be his great-granddaughter, Laura Eisenhower, who I've been in many lectures and meetings with and done conferences with and been on panel discussions with. And she says that this information is 100% accurate and that she was told not to come out with this information, but she did, and to speak publicly about it, which she did. And they ostracized her from the family, even taking away her inheritance money. And I believe that because she was financially struggling severely at that time. But I believe her wholeheartedly. And she had some other incredible stories to tell about the family as well that were pretty out there.
What were they?
Well, she said that they sent a handler to her years ago to talk about going to a breakaway civilization they had been creating on Mars.
There's also, he says, a secret underground base on Mars where there are American and alien representatives.
And she thought the guy was a love interest and really falling in love. And she found out through some method or whatever that he was actually just a handler. And tried to convince her to go with him to Mars. She said, no, I'm not going to go. They tried. They kind of fought over her trying to be there. And according to her, there were only specific bloodlines or specific people with particular interests and knowledge and so forth allowed to do this breakaway civilization. And she said that she decided not to go. But she said that they are creating a breakaway civilization on Mars. Now, the reason why I believe that is because, you know, a program that I created years ago called the United Family of Anomaly Hunters. We had been downloading images from NASA, the European Space Agency, the Indian Space Agency, China, Russia, all the publicly available images from all the space probe data and rovers. And we had been finding a lot of anomalies, tons and tons of anomalies. And in these anomalies, these are out of place objects, things that shouldn't be where they are. And one of the most anomalies appear on Mars, to be honest with you. And so that led me.
Anyway, that's what I wanted to get to, was the whole Mars thing.
Yeah, Billy right there, Billy Carson. He hasn't been caught scamming people, and he went to jail for scamming a lot of people. You look up the scams he was doing. A lot of them people, you got to kind of watch them, and you got to cross-reference what they say. A lot of these people will trickle down a little information, but a lot of it could be misinformation. And they just really, these type of guys are blowing up everywhere, and they're usually just doing it for the money. They're not really doing it to warn people. It's all about the money.
I also think it could be kind of like Dave Chappelle. You know, some people come out and tell the truth. They don't sell out. And then all of a sudden the media makes some kind of villain, and now you can't believe him anymore. Because a lot of what he's saying is legit. When you do the history research.
Yeah, but he just got that information from other people and did it like that. It's not like he was the main one.
They're turned down.
But he hasn't been locked up. I saw his police record.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's,
he didn't get in jail for scamming.
Shit happens. But is what he's saying legit or not? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's more important to me than whether he has a record.
Yeah. Just click the link, Karen. Can we put the link for Backstage? And anybody want? I have not seen Chrissy Cat Cheryl. I haven't seen her in a long time, actually. I remember that name. But somebody put the link. And did you guys want to say any goodbyes to YouTube and go to the back?
Goodbyes to YouTube.
Yeah, that's what I always say. What about you, Bonnie? Anything? And can we get the stream out there, or the link, pretty please?
That's what I'm doing.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm like, goodbye. Tell me the link. Click the link. Say goodbye.
God bless y'all. Have a good night.
All right. Good night, YouTube.